Okay, hello and welcome to Studio Kitchen, Colorado. It is a Friday, March 20th. And 1 week ago, it was Katie Bar the Door. Our lives are changing forever. It was last week this time, Friday the 13th, where, boy, we got the news. And it was get ready to duck. It's coming for you. Rebecca Berry, Greg Hollenbach here with you on a very special edition of the Modern Eater live stream. As you can hear, it just popped up on my computer. What day is it now?
It is day 5. So I feel like this has been the longest 5 days of our lives, but the quickest. Does that make sense? Or I don't know, AM,
Most
PM,
bizarre.
what day it is,
I can
very
tell you that
bizarre.
I can tell you that for sure. The only thing that's certain right now is uncertainty. And we want to bring you the latest updates and best programming that we possibly can. Colorado is a love for all of us in the food and beverage industry right now. Food service is just getting decimated. So thanks for tuning in. Do what we're doing right now. We appreciate any share that you can possibly do to keep everybody informed and updated. So I'm jumping over to the Modern Eater Facebook page right now.
I'm not seeing us on there unless...
Not seeing us on there?
Nope, I see us from yesterday. Do you have it, Jay? Okay, it may just be
if
me.
Jay sees it, that must be
that's good.
It's there.
Please share, guys. I mean, I've gotten such great responses, just in general, from people who are asking about legislation, what's going on with our industry, liquor delivery hours, how we're handling things they just want to know about, whether it's unemployment or where to look for jobs, are great tips, essentially, like the guys who are doing service industry tips. It's service. If you look at serviceindustry.tip, I have shared it multiple places. I will reshare it today. You can tip a random bartender or server. It's pretty cool. I did 2 last night.
Yeah, there's so many places we'd like to send you any information and links. But right now, if you're on Facebook and you'd like a good resource guide, we're trying to share as much as we possibly can and funnel it to a group. It's Food Service Emergency. Join that group. We've opened it up to the public for the meantime, just to get this great information out to you. But please, Food Service Emergency. I know we're throwing a lot of information at you. Also, the past shows that we've done, we've had some great interviews. It's just very interesting to watch this develop throughout the hours and days and as the weeks ahead. So this journey we're taking together, if you want to go to the Modern Eater YouTube channel, all of the past interviews and shows that we've done for the coronavirus coverage are there for you. Also, the moderneater.com. That's a great resource for you. And we also have updates there as well. We're going to continue doing this as much as we possibly can. I know I will be here for you every single day. Rebecca's been here with us, and just great to have you here with us through these times right now, Rebecca.
And just like everybody should, as we're going to speak to, again, the mental health piece and taking care of yourself, I'm going to take 2 days for myself and my family this weekend to really just hunker down, process everything, because we've been going from day one with this, and I need to take some time to rest. You all should, but make sure you're taking care of yourself. We had Carly Smith on earlier this week, the Fairy Gut Mother, on great tips of things for your gut. Just be, I'm actually going to pick up some of their bone broth tonight, because we can't do their watch party at their facility now for being on the Food Network. So I will be taking that home to watch. But just take care of yourselves and take care of each other.
Okay, as our audience builds right now, and I'm sharing this to my timeline, hopefully you're doing the same as well. We do have a great lineup for you. We're going to get into a few topics as well. The theme that I'm seeing right now, as I keep my ear to the ground, is food service is being decimated. The chains are broken. Retail is not suffering in the slightest. It's just a matter of, can you keep up? Can you stock your shelves fast enough? Can you maintain that furious rush into the supermarkets? So that's kind of the theme that I'm seeing today. With that, it's the anything goes that I'm seeing as well. There's some new things that are coming down as far as restaurants that are able to sell alcohol for takeout. Yeah. That's unprecedented. There's so many things that are involved in that. I think there are people that are either on the fence or on either side or another. So we're going to check in with Sonia Riggs a little bit later in this broadcast from the Colorado Restaurant Association to talk about that. She's actually on a conference call right now with a lot of top leaders. I believe the governor is on that call with her as well. So she'll be able to give us valuable information towards the later part of this broadcast. Coming up in just a moment is Andy McArdle. Andy is the owner of Mountain Man Micro Farms, and he sent us an email I'll tell you about in just a second. At 2:30, you can expect Zach Johnston is going to step into the studio, the Spice Guy, and we had a conversation about being lean and mean right now and what it's taking for small businesses to either pivot or survive. So lean and mean is kind of the name of the game right now, guys. Yep. And along with that, new things that we're seeing, 3 p.m., Chris Laurita, the Laurita family and Italco Food Products. Italco Food Products is doing something that is never heard of. They are in the food distribution service, going directly or going to restaurants through food distribution. And right now they're faced with, we've got to open up the doors and sell retail. What will that look like? We'll talk to Chris Laurita at 3 p.m. On the other side of the coin, at 3:30 p.m., we'll be joined by Chris Franklin. Chris Franklin is the manager of a new grocery store called Leevers Locavore, a local grocery store who's on the retail side of that. And we're starting to see who the pros are and whose shelves are stocked and whose aren't. And really, what does that look like on the retail side as some of the food service people are jockeying for position to get into retail as well. It's a very interesting time. As I said, 4 p.m., we'll be joined by Sonia Riggs from the Colorado Restaurant Association. And then I think we'll need it by 4:30.
Absolutely.
Rejoined by Dr. Sara Betz. She's with Code 4 Counseling. Mental health is a very interesting thing right now. I think everybody thinks they're going crazy. Everybody thinks they're unstable, but just kind of confirming what's going on right now and what are ways that we can vent, outlet, or be there for each other in a day and age of social distancing has just taken over. So let's begin. What do you think? We'll get right to it. And it's 2:09 right now. We're trying to do this live stream every single day from 2 to 5 p.m. at least. And so without further ado, let's bring our first guest on the stream today. His name is Andy McArdle, and Mountain Man Microgreens is his business. Welcome to the Modern Eater stream today, Andy.
Hey, Andy. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
And we appreciate it. Thank you so much for reaching out to us. We do get a lot of email. I thought this really stood out because this is a part of the climate that I'm seeing right now, Andy. You are in that food service chain that is broken at the moment. And your email reads from yesterday, "Hey, I love the show, you guys. I own a farm that works with about 60 plus restaurants from Castle Rock to Boulder. And I thought it would be cool if you guys touched on the impact that this is also having on our smaller local farms that depend on restaurants to buy our produce. I essentially went out of business in 24 hours like the rest of us, trying to sell direct to consumer and figure it out what the next plan of action is as best I possibly can. These times are tough, but when times get tough, the tough get going, and you don't want to let this virus stop us all in our tracks. Thanks for reaching out. I think that email set it up the way that it should properly be set up. But 24 hours, boy, your life changed quickly.
Yeah, it went quick. I've been delivering to some of the same restaurants every single week for, over 5 years straight. And this week I went to, only a couple of them. With my products, I plant every single day of the week. And yesterday was the first day I didn't plant a single tray because I don't know where I can offload the produce to. So it's a nightmare to say the least, but working really hard to try to figure out unique ways to still get my product out to people. I specialize in microgreens, and they're packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and now's as good a time as any to eat healthy. So I want to keep pushing this out to everybody to help everyone stay healthy and also to try to save the farm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So here it is, Annie. I wish I had great advice for you. I think everybody's trying to figure this out as we go along. No great answers just right now. But what I do want to ask you, are you creating a plan for yourself and your business that maybe you're not able to pivot that quickly and that you need to hang on?
I mean, I'm totally switching to online direct to consumer sales. I've had a ton of support from people literally everywhere, from Castle Rock all the way to Boulder, put orders in. And, I've never been so thankful for our community before. It's amazing to see everybody to come together and really help each other out. I'm kind of in the process of thinking about trying to create a CSA between a group of different farmers out there that are kind of in the same boat as me, and where we can kind of bundle our stuff together and get it out to everybody out there. But yeah, it's tough just trying to come up with whatever we can to keep growing and keep feeding our communities.
What are you seeing right now as far as what's effective as far as your pivoting points right now?
Right now I'm using a lot of posts on Instagram and trying to just share as much as I can. It's really just getting the word out there. Most people don't know that they can order microgreens and produce directly from me, and other farms are doing it too. You can order it directly from the farms, and I mean, there's no middleman. It comes straight from a greenhouse to your door. It's as fresh as it can be, and so we're just trying to spread the word and share everybody's posts and trying to make everything go as viral as we can to just get the word out there that you can get the best produce you can straight from a farm if you'd like.
I think as we speak to, the health piece and staying healthy and gut health and nutrition, this is key for everybody to know. I mean, as a general consumer, that's something that I'm not as aware of, and I've learned more this week coming into this whole battle that we're up against. But go buy local, buy fresh, get things fresh. It's good for your body. It's good for your mind. It supports our local farmers. It keeps our economy going.
Absolutely. Lean and mean is probably the name of the game now, is how you can just get down to the bare basics because your model has been completely destroyed. I have confidence that model will regain footing at some point, and with the lean and mean thought processes that just maybe your business will be better off in the long run once you get some of these direct to consumer points in place.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's definitely the name of the game. Cutting some things back. I grow 40 plus varieties of microgreens, and a lot of them are very special, real specialty herbs and things that your average person aren't really going to know what to do with. And so it's cutting that, menu of seeds that I'm planting down and getting the real good essential ones that people know how to use and can get the most nutrition out to them. Yeah, it's tough times for sure. But I know, I got this far, and everyone else has too. We'll come out on the other end. I started this farm literally in my basement and built it up to where I was growing vertically indoors and in warehouses the last few years. And, I was even practically homeless for a couple years getting this farm going to get this produce out to these restaurants and to people. And then I managed to get it to the point where I am now, where I just built a brand new greenhouse and moved into it in January and ready to really pump out a lot of really good produce to, the entire state, really, as far as I can reach. So, yeah, I can't let this stop me, and I hope it doesn't stop anybody else. So it's good to have a community like ours for sure.
And I think it's sharing. Continue to share things that you see currently. I mean, as you said, Andy, you're sharing all of your information best we can. That's what we're here for, is to push that information out to our partners, the public, whoever we can to support you. We're all one in this together. I think that's the biggest other theme too is that nobody here is alone. Everybody's at a different place, but we need to gather together and be creative.
Yeah, well, it's scarier than hell. I mean, the truths and the reality are setting in. One thing that you look at this broken chain and with restaurants just being decimated at this point in time, Andy, is I'm sure that you have a lot of accounts receivable out there that you'd love to get paid on, and you're coming to the terms that you're probably not going to get paid on. But one of the things that I'm very confident in it is that people build brands. Brands don't build people. And you're going to be doing business with people after this, just like you did before that, and have great relationships. How are you handling that on your end, on the business end, of folks that may owe you money, and determining whether that's going to be good floated debt or just bad debt that you're going to have to write off?
Yeah, it's tough for sure, and we're all in the same boat. And it's funny, I was just talking to one chef earlier today about it, and he was letting me know about, how they're just they're not able to pay a lot of their bills right now for a little while. And I totally get it. And I'm telling, all my restaurants out there that, like they've been with me for years. I'm right there with them. And, whenever we get back on our feet, hopefully 2 months from now, then we can kind of start getting back in gear with everything on the business end. But it's tough. Just got to try to help each other out. I mean, some of these restaurant owners and chefs I've talked to this past week are, like you've said, I mean, it's totally decimated. I mean, it's devastating. I mean, these guys have been in business for years, and they don't know if they're going to be able to ride out this wave. And
Right.
so I don't know. It's tough. I'm trying to, I don't know. I'm giving out produce to a bunch of them here and there, and just trying to make it through, and just try to keep everybody's heads up best I can. Yeah, just a matter of getting by the next couple months, and then continuing on with the great summer that we were all looking forward to.
I was going to ask you that. What's in your crystal ball? What are you projecting the next couple of months to look like for you?
Oh man, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air, but I've got a few things in the fire. I've been working on they're called global gap audits and all this stuff to get into some of the bigger grocery chains out there. And I'm hoping that gets wrapped up in the next couple weeks, and I can at least start getting some of my stuff into some of the grocery stores and getting it to the consumer that way. But otherwise, I'm already growing my direct-to-consumer sales online. That's been growing significantly compared to what it has been in the past. So yeah, I'm just looking to keep going direct to the consumer, and look forward to when all these restaurants open up so we can all sit on their patios and enjoy some real good food.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I look forward to that day as well. Things are changing rapidly. The only thing that's certain is uncertainty. We continue on as it's day 5, but folks, that if you're just tuning in now, these are the stories. Joined with us is Andy McArdle and Mountain Man Micro Farms, doing just what every single business is trying to do out there, is to pivot. To survival of the fittest, I don't know. I mean, we have friends and we have family, but you're figuring out who your friends and who your family are very quickly at this point in time. And Andy, I wish I had answers for you, but I do know you're right about one thing. We have a community of people that are awesome. You do have a commodity. You have food that people would love to eat. It's just a matter it's just a matter of figuring out how to get that food to them. Anything that we come across that could seem like it could benefit you, or if somebody reaches out to us that's listening to this broadcast right now, and we can get you connected with Andy. Andy, we're not going to forget about you. This isn't a one and done. We're in this with you, my friend. And thank you for reaching out. Really appreciate what you're doing But more than that, continue on. We need that. We need that resilience. We need that flexibility. And I think that you're providing a lot of that, and just providing a great example as well.
Yeah.
No, I definitely appreciate that. We can't do it without sticking together. So it's now's as good a time as any to come together and just push through this for as long as it lasts.
Absolutely. Gathering resources is what it's really all about right now. Just figuring out where your footing is, communicating with people. If you owe somebody money, talk to them about when you might be able to pay them. Everybody knows right now, but they do want to have communication with folks. If you owe someone else money, give them a call. It's a tough conversation. But, again, when we come up for air on this one, it's not brands that are going to reach out to other brands. It's people that are going to reach out to other people.
Well, and be proactive. We keep saying that only because it's very scary to do it. It's very scary to have that conversation. But remember, we're all in this together, having to make those calls, whether it's, to your vendors and your purveyors, or if it's to your mortgage company or whatever it may be. The more you let it build, the more stress you're putting on yourself. So just pick up the phone and do it. Everybody's really understanding at this point.
Anything else you want to leave us with right now, other than how people can support you, reach you the best possible way, and maybe keep you on your feet?
Nah, I mean, I just hope everyone keeps doing what they're doing. Everyone's getting out there and supporting their local restaurant and farm, and it's really been amazing to see. If anybody's interested in learning more about my farm and the products we grow, feel free to check out my website, mtmanfarms.com, or give me a call at 303-495-8580, and I'll be sure to help you out if I can. And hope everyone stays healthy and keeps eating healthy too.
Yeah. It's kind of weird putting out there, asking for people to help and support you, right? When you're thinking, there's so many people that need that. And right now, no, don't feel bad about it, my friend. Keep doing what you're doing. The fight is real, and keep on plugging on.
I really appreciate it, guys.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate your time.
Andy McArdle, Mountain Man Micro Farms,
Yep.
And it's those type of things, Rebecca, 2 weeks ago, it wouldn't even be a question. If there was a business that was struggling, or you'd hear those things, but it wasn't like I'm going to be out of business in 24 hours because everything just crashes. It gets desperate.
No, and we were on such a high, I'd say, and the build up, and our economy was thriving. Our industry was thriving.
Supposed to be it.
I tell you what, man, we have taken quite the hit this year.
Yeah. Day 5. Thanks for joining us. Share this broadcast. This is going to be your connection. The beacon in the night, just kind of that North Star. We want to just keep the light on for you every single day. Communicate with each other. We are using a resource group, Food Service Emergency Facebook group. Please hit that up. Look for it. We're trying to put in information, and just basically good information. Speaking of good information, she'll join us at 4 p.m., but Sonia Riggs from the Colorado Restaurant Association really showing. She's working for her money right now. And if some people said, well, what's the relevancy of the Colorado Restaurant Association maybe a month ago, a year, just whenever, right now you're starting to figure out what that relevancy is, whether it's local, state, or federal mandating. That was very poignant there. Very poignant.
Zach.
So good news coming from down the pipe from the Colorado Restaurant Association every single day. And I don't know how it's going to play out, but right now, what are they doing, Rebecca? They're going to offer curbside
And delivery of liquor. We have a lot of questions that are going to go on with that. Greg and I might even have a little bit of a disagreement on our thoughts on it, which is a healthy I wouldn't say competition, but banter, conversation.
Because we all know if it was competition, you'd win.
That's true. Thank you. I appreciate. Wow, Jay, that was a quick bow down. Did you catch that?
Yeah, but here's the thing: he didn't mean it.
That's true.
Stop it. Today's theme. Basically, the purge. What I'm seeing right now out there is anybody who's in food service, and we're seeing restaurants, and your timelines and your Instagram are being inundated with seeing restaurants and restaurateurs put their food out there either for their friends or their family, employees. and basically just come and get it, because this is the final push for that curbside and delivery. It's interesting to see what's working and what's not working. I think we have some different takes on that. We're going to address that as well. The death of fine dining. Are we looking at it right now as fine dining just on the edge? I spoke to some pretty predominant restaurant guys just this morning and said, I'm out of the business. That's it. I'm done with it. I'm going to pivot and get into something else. It's a very trying time right now. And if you're in this food and beverage industry, service industry, you're getting put to the test. You are getting put to the test. I know you love it. We all love it. But really, what are the benefits of enduring this right now, other than unemployment and just community? That's really all that's going for anything right now. Small business relief. There are some loans that are becoming more available. But again, when you're dealing with restaurants, bars, operations that deal with such small margins, a lot of folks, they're not going to want to be burdened or saddled with any more debt than they possibly can handle. A small business loan, as much as that sounds attractive, it's just not feasible for a lot of these folks to float that kind of debt. So I'm not quite sure that relief is really being found right now for anybody. I know the state of Colorado had put something out there, and I actually applied for this for the Modern Eater. It's it's right here. Okay, Small Business Emergency Relief Program. I don't know if many people are aware of this, but I think they're putting about $2 million in funding just for folks that throw in an application to see if they qualify for this relief program here in Denver. You can find that on the City of Denver Department of Public Health and Environment website. So it's a support service. To throw yourself in your name in the hat for any and everything right now.
Absolutely,
it is really all that I can tell you as resources become available.
Proactive, because as we saw with the unemployment site, I mean, we're going to get a hit on it. So the longer you wait, the more you're going to have an opportunity for a crash with it. And so get in while you can, and just, again, be proactive. The sooner you can get these loans, the sooner these conversations can happen, the better you're going to feel.
Retail versus food service right now. Food service is just getting smacked. Like it's you sit there and you smile or whatever, and it's just out of like, I'm in shock. I can't believe in one short week what not only done to food service, but our economy in general. 20% of our population is probably going to be unemployed here shortly, as the ripple effects just cascade on down the line of what this is doing from American to American. You're going to feel this if you haven't already. But the coronavirus, the walls are closing in. More cases are known to be, just because the sheer amount of testing is bolstered at this point in time. And there are thousands amongst us that are carriers of coronavirus right now. And things are told by officials that it's going to get worse before it gets better. So as we pivot from moment to moment, hour to hour on what the bureaucrats are saying on down the line of what's going to happen as far as will we have further measures as far as locked up, and what will that look like? Will food service be completely decimated with? At some point in time, will something come down the pipe to where even delivery and curbside will be eliminated from the equation? That's how quickly something like that can happen as well. Lean and mean is the name of the game.
Greg, Dave Avery posted that Illinois just ordered shelter in place statewide. It's effective tomorrow. So, I mean, we're not that far behind, which is also why we need to support local brands and support our people now, because we don't know how long that'll be, when the effect will happen. And it's probably coming, coast to coast.
This is your spot, the Modern Eater stream, for the most effective live information that's coming at you on a daily basis. We're bringing it to you, the best interviews, the best guests, the best programming. So we appreciate that. We'll take it, share it, throw us a like if you can. I think we were on the Modern Eater Facebook page, 3,999 likes. Do you want to be that 4,000th like? We would appreciate it if you are. Lean and Mean, he brought it to my attention. I think he's completely right. He's one of the smartest small businessmen that I know. He's in studio with us right now. He's a friend. He's a confidant. He's somebody that I look to as a spirit guide a lot of times to just take the temperature of things. His name's Zach Johnston, the Spice Guy, here with us.
We have him in the disinfectant corner, by the way.
You need more friends.
I did.
If I'm the smartest guy this is bad.
I don't know if I said smartest guy.
One of the smartest guys
You
I know.
are one of the smartest guys I know. But Richie's in there. And then we got Jay Parker.
Dang.
You know, that's a smart dude.
I mean, I'm not used to
Something
being
looks
in that
different
company.
about you.
I took my glasses off.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I like that. You have beautiful eyes.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. This just got very sweet.
Matches your tattoo. You got a little color in your tattoo. You were out doing the only 6 deliveries.
Dude, can I tell you something though today?
Yeah.
We're typically doing 225 deliveries in any given week. We did 6 this week to no fault of our own. And at every single place that I went, I was offered a food. I was offered drink. I was offered a dessert.
I need to get out more.
One guy rubbed my back. Things. I mean, this industry won't stay down. That's the deal. Like,
hey man, guess what day it is?
Day 5.
You know how many days ahead of us we have?
Many.
It's gonna get weird.
Yeah, we've got many days ahead of us. But day 5 and probably the worst week in my opinion, because I think a lot of people panic bought and went to the store and bought all the meat from the entire case.
Great. Let's start there because today's topic is retail versus food service. Retail just getting smashed. I mean, they're making money.
They're making some money.
Food service decimated. Both in food, right? What are we seeing right now, Zach?
And this is a very humble opinion because it's not a lot of backup. But in my opinion, I think that a lot of people went out to Costco and Whole Foods and wherever they usually shop, and they bought all the food that they could put in their refrigerator. Mm-hmm. And because they thought we're going to go on 24/7 lockdown tomorrow, which, a lot of people incited panic and a lot of people incited fear, and people purchased and made decisions based on those 2 things more than just a generality of anything. I think the novelty of cooking in your house is going to wear off today for most people.
I mean, literally Friday, March 20th, your food probably lasted your week. You went out last Friday the 13th and bought everything you possibly could. You're sick of cooking right now. Your produce is, and now you're faced with, do you want to go out and fight the grocery stores and do what you did last week, or go get a delicious whatever from somebody who's offering?
And I think, you get people who don't cook as often. Like I cook a lot and I also support local business. But if you're not used to cooking and you've hoarded all this food, you don't know the portioning, the rationing, what's good for how long, what you should have, those types of things. And so you're right. I think people are going stir crazy because they went into complete, utter panic mode. What are they going to do for the next 7 weeks?
Well,
we're on day 5.
Yeah, most people's cooking tastes the same, whether you make chicken or pork or, at the end of the day, most people are like, well, you put this in it and this in it. And so now I'm saying, like, your food, my food tastes like Zach's food. Greg's food tastes like Greg's food. And I'm sick of eating Zach's food. Yeah. And I've been going and trying to get as many meals outside of my own domain as possible. That being said, I don't think that I'm in the minority there. I think people are getting sick of their own cooking. Mm-hmm. Everybody that I've talked to is like, I'm good. Like, I made a pan of lasagna and I ate 1 piece out of 12. I'm done with it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. People
there's some good things going on out there too. Just the feel good things.
People are crushing, dude.
Get out. Well, and I wonder. And thank you for tuning in. If you're here on the Modern Eater live stream, again, just trying to be here for you every single day. That star in the night. Tina and Brother Luck are tuned into our live stream. They said hello. Hello, guys. Been trying to catch up with you, brother, for a while. You're crushing it. You've just serving food to people.
Is he going to be on the Top Chef Stars show tonight?
I can't even get him on the stream right now. He's just trying to focus, and
Hey, I'd like to, Jay Parker here. I'd like to throw a shout out to Juan Padro, who's been watching the past few days of our broadcast, and he's a guy. I'm actually going to reach out to him today. So Juan, if you're listening, you expect a phone call or a text from me at least, because we'd love to get you on the live stream and talk about some things. But Juan Padro is just one of these restaurateurs locally that and forgive me because I don't know what he's doing right now specifically pertaining to the virus, but in general, he's one of the restaurateurs that every year long he's helping somebody somewhere.
Well, look at his work with the hurricane relief that he did.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say
they're crushing. They
what's up, and you're an amazing human.
Well, let's talk about what's working, what's not working, what they're trying to add to the equation, and remember, what today's truth is today's truth. Yesterday's truth may not be a truth anymore, and tomorrow's the same thing. So we can have the Friday 5 o'clock surprise that sometimes you get. We're all under lockdown.
Can I tell you something awesome that I just found out?
Sure.
Barolo is still operating at 50% of sales from last week. Fine dining's not dead. I was going to
ask about them.
Fine dining's not dead, dude.
No, Barolo, though, they have such a great model. I mean, Ryan Flutter has done an incredible job. When he took over that organization, he kept everything the same. I have so much respect for him. He continues to do the 2-week vacation to Italy with his team. He gives them Sundays and Mondays off. He doesn't open until 5 o'clock. So he's done things very well for a very long time. He's got, Chef Daryl on his team. He keeps a very lean team as well. So I think that's a piece of it. Those people, Katie Kelly is actually a neighbor and friend of mine, and she's been their top bar manager for, I can't even remember how many years at this point.
I see a lot of friends and family, food service people joining our stream, and Brother Luck must have shared it. Thank you. Share it, please, please, please. You have the ability to share this. We need to get this as viral as that dumbass COVID-19. I mean, don't
Are we allowed to cuss on this show?
Say
decently.
Something.
We're not on iHeart today, so
limited cusses.
Limited. It slips. We can have slips because we're passionate right now.
Hell yeah.
Damn it. Hell yeah. Zach, lean and mean, man. You're having to take a look at your business as well. Zach Johnston, the Spice Guy, joining us right now. At 3 o'clock, we'll be joined by Chris Laurita, Italco Food Products, and doing something unprecedented for them within the food service chain. It's broken. They're going to go direct to retailers. But your deal, you've been doing a great job with a lot of things, not only your compostable packaging. Too bad you didn't see this coming. What would you have done if you would have seen this coming? If you would have had time to prepare for this, had 6 months.
I don't think anybody would have seen the vastness that this is going to create.
Let me try that again. 6 months to know that here's where we are on today, March 20th. And you had 6 months to be able to figure out a business model that may sustain this. What would it be?
I mean, obviously you Monday morning quarterback this and say, oh man, it would have been amazing to be in retailers. And that we have long since stood against being in retail in a traditional way, where you set spices on a shelf and you hope they sell and they're not really going bad. So the grocery store is never throwing them away, but by the time a consumer buys them, they are dead.
Yeah.
And it has long since been our philosophy that we're not going to do that. We're not going to sit our stuff on a shelf. And we actually partnered up with Chris Franklin at Leevers.
Okay.
And so we have the time machine in there, which is our vending machine that we can control all the products in. We have a deal worked out with them to where we can come in and move anything around inside of that machine. It's all based on percentages instead of SKUs. And that is a way that we're in retail. And the vending machine has since this virus has gone on, sold itself out twice.
That's incredible.
Which is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. That's forward thinking.
So more vending machines?
So I would have had more vending machines in more retailers. But I'm a control freak. I would have had to have figured out how to keep control. Not sure 6 months is long enough for somebody at my IQ to figure all that out.
You got a high IQ, my friend. Lean and mean, what does that mean to you right now as far as your business goes? How many folks were you able to keep? How many people were you able to lay off? This is remarkable. I don't know if it's changed, but this is remarkable what you're about to say.
We were a business of 20 on Friday, and we were a business of 1 on Saturday. I left here. We were with Sonia. I left here, I went to my car, I cried, and then I called everybody that works for me and said, file unemployment immediately. And everybody did it.
It really, I have goosebumps, to be honest. I mean, that's not just a radio TV statement. It
goes back to what Brother Luck said. It just rings in my head on a daily basis.
We didn't do anything wrong.
That he put out is that, man, we didn't do one damn thing wrong. This isn't our fault.
And these are people who are taking care of their employees, their family, right? Your employees are your family.
Yeah, we're leaving everybody's benefits on as long as fiscally possible.
Amazing.
We'll see what the finances, how it all shakes down, but everybody's going to have health insurance until we are out of money.
But you have to think about that, right? So now with this whole thing, if people don't have health insurance and they're hit by this and they get hospitalized, I mean, it's just unbearable and unthinkable. And those are things we don't think about, in the heat of the moment, that the long term,
the fallout will be insane.
It's going to be, and they can't pay their medical bills. They can barely put food on the table right now.
Lucky for us, I mean, we pay much higher than minimum wage. So our people, not all of them have saved. They're not all super financially responsible, as any business employees face. But
we got our 4,000th like.
Boom.
Did you know that?
Who was that? Do we know who it is? Who just clicked like? I'd like to hear.
Yeah, I'd like to see who that was.
I'd like to know who that is.
I'm going to have to figure out how to look.
But yeah, we'll see about the shakedown here. It'll be tremendous how this all plans out. The interesting thing is, I really see it bouncing back in a way not quite as strong as it ever was. And we talked earlier on the phone, Greg, that the people that were playing restaurant and the people that were doing restaurant are going to be it's going to be apparent who was doing what. The people that if anybody was in jeopardy of losing their business, it's gone. Anybody that was running a lean, mean machine, they're still good.
Well, may have a chance.
Exactly.
And listen, there are some folks that may say, I could possibly survive on the other side of this thing, but I don't have the energy.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It drains
how many 6,000 metro area restaurants? What do you think that number is going to look like a year from now?
4,000.
Really? That many?
I think we have a strong community, though. I think we've seen a lot of that, and
I just hope there's small businesses in there. I hope it's not just a huge corporate takeover and fast food's the new model and a
lot of these guys are going to pivot to a quick grab. At least part of their model is going to be this grab and go. I know that's talking about Juan. I know that's what they did. They have completely turned every restaurant that they have into a new menu, new concept grab and go service. And they did a full turnover in 36 hours.
Amazing.
Brand new menus, brand new marketing, brand new everything. That dude he's got a.
Hey, I'm gonna do my first one because we don't get to do it on Saturdays. He's the definition of a guy that has his shit together.
He's got it.
You know what I mean? When you talk to him, when you meet him, when you go into one of his restaurants. Well, yeah, but I wanted to swear.
That was more,
but and I think it's applicable. I mean, that's a time where it's applicable.
Calculated cussing, yeah.
What are we going to see as far as folks that are in? First of all, retail. You think retail is going to slow down?
I think, compared to last week, is there a different option for it? Every single person I know spent hundreds of dollars at the store I've never gone to the store and spent $100. Even last week we didn't do it. Costco's a different story, right? You're getting all the weird stuff that you need.
Yeah.
But as far as because we try to exclusively shop with Leevers, it's hard to spend $200 there for a family of 2.5. But plenty of people did it. I don't think that those numbers are ever going to be a thing. I think for retailers, I think people are going to go, wow, March 16th through the 20th, what an amazing week. We'll never do that again. And people on the food service side are going to go, wow, what a shit week. I hope we never do that again.
Yeah.
It's all something. The lean and mean part is sweet, though, for a business like ours. Obviously, I'm devastated by having to lay everybody off. But once you take the payroll out of these distribution companies, there's not a whole lot left. Sure, we have some overhead, but our thing has always been to keep it as fresh and new as possible. So we're not sitting on 10,000 pounds of garlic powder right now like some of our other friends in Denver are.
Mm-hmm. Where you see that's getting hit the hardest right now?
people throwing stuff away, meat and cheese that doesn't have a retail connect.
Oh, wow. Yep. The silver lining type of thing. I say that, some of the most devastating fires yield the most fertile soil. There's going to be some fertile soil on the other side of this thing. What do you I already hate to rebuild the Spice Guy, but you're going to have to rebuild it. Where do you start?
We've got our plan. I've got a plan in place. I've watched a lot of these guys like Juan and people in that same mode, sort of taking some little tidbits of advice as far as trying to keep things going and having a plan for the impossible. And I didn't necessarily have a virus plan, but we've got a plan of who comes back, how, and at what rate, and what number designates having this person come back. And we have all that because we're only 7 years old. I've been doing that. We've been bringing a new person on as we reach milestones. So my numbers are pretty figured for, I need this many people to make this much dollars, or I need this many people to produce this many orders. My stuff is fairly dialed in. When we first met, I told you I'm a data person. Yeah. If you said make an investment into the modern eater, and I said, show me ROI.
Yeah.
And you said, I don't have it. And I said, I'll make it for you. I'm a data person. I'll show you exactly what I have. I've put in X amount of dollars to your business, and I've met these X amount of people who have spent these dollars. There's some gray area there with people that listen to the show.
Well, you like us too, right?
Yeah. I mean, you guys are all right. And so I have been data driven since the beginning. And for whatever reason, I've had a lot of luck with intuition. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to keep going for that. There's not a different option.
How about accounts receivable? I'm sure there's some money floating around out there that people owe you. And I say that, brands aren't doing business with brands. People are doing business with people. How are you going to approach that?
As compassionate as possible. I'm hoping for a lot of honesty from both sides. I sent out a pretty honest email yesterday to my entire client list, and I prefaced it with, I'm sorry for sending a mass email to all of you, and excuse the French that I use from here on out. And it's about how hard this industry has worked and how bad we feel for our clients because they are the front line of decimation. Mm-hmm. We're a trickle-down effect of that. And the front half of the email was thanking everybody for how hard they're working and putting it out there and getting on social media and reaching out to senators and making those phone calls and telling people in an honest, real way, hey, last week I did $100,000. This week I did 680. And those are real numbers for the Spice Guy.
It's insane.
A $680 week. We did more when we moved facilities. We did sent 6 times that, and we were hoping for one day. And so, there's a crazy fallout here. The second half of the email was, I know a ton of you dudes owe money. We're going to accept credit cards for all of it. No fee. If you can pay on the credit card, please do. Like, we're trying to keep our lights on also. If you can't pay, please hit me up. Here's my cell phone number. Call me. We'll see how many people reach out. I've had a lot of people, actually people off of your board have paid today, which is freaking awesome.
That's amazing.
Yep. Anybody that is on that board that I do business with actually paid all the way up today. So there's community here. People want to do it. People want to be involved. People want to make sure that brands that they love now are there when we reopen in.
What's keeping you engaged right now and optimistic? Who's inspiring you?
Dude, I was a pretty sour guy for Monday and Tuesday. I might have talked to you. Uh-huh. I was not into it on Monday and Tuesday. It took a lot to go to work on Monday and Tuesday. I think the thing that's getting me engaged is watching people on the internet go nuts for this. Like, this is an amazing time to be a marketing person, and I'm a marketing driven guy as well as data. I love knowing how people work and what they're thinking, what gets them buying, what gets them happy, what's going to make them happy to cook. I'm getting probably 600 hits on the Spice Guide DMs every day of people cooking with the spices at home which is awesome. So, we were lucky. We have a retail business. Our e-commerce business has never been relied on to carry anything, but it is now all of a sudden. So we have, we've been hitting the email and our list pretty hard and making partnerships with people, local businesses in town. We're trying to do something with a wine company in Grand Junction is doing something with us. We're doing a couple meal delivery kits. We're trying to work with a couple of guys to do Taco Tuesday kits where tacos for 4. And, we'll do all the fulfillment and delivery. And, honestly, I had a lot of retail white labeling and private labeling stuff walk in this week because the retail sector was so hit. So, we've got 15,000 bottles to pack up next week. So some people are going to come back to work, at least temporarily.
Thank you, folks, for joining the live stream. Zach Johnston. Now you see why I say this is one of the smartest guys I know. He underplays it a little bit.
Yeah, he can't hide it for too long. The only way he could hide it is if he didn't talk, But once you hear him talk, then you're like, man, come on. You said you were dumb. You're not dumb. Even though he didn't say he was dumb, but you know what I mean.
We've got comments here. Thanks for tuning in. Zach Kreider joins from Colorado Mills.
Oh, again. Zach, where can we buy your retail oil? Somebody was asking on my Instagram last night.
Zach Kreider, where can we buy your retail oil?
That's all I cook with, to be honest.
Me too.
I mean,
I was showing
love
off
it.
my big gallon jug.
Wait, you got a gallon and I still don't have one? I want to do some fried chicken at home, gluten-free, too.
Pays to know people.
That's true.
Greg, shout out to John Hinman.
Yeah.
With Chow, which is the culinary hospitality outreach and wellness program. They have a meeting tonight at 6 p.m. It says via Zoom. Now, I don't know what via Zoom means.
Zoom is a meeting service like Skype.
It's like Skype.
You get a whole bunch of
like a conference call, but virtually. We talked about this earlier.
Yeah, I see what you're doing there.
Well, so it's interesting, and thank you, John, for that information. We'll get that into the emergency food service group. That a lot of, what's hot right now is virtual happy hours.
Oh, that's exciting.
Well, it is exciting, but some people don't need that. They need the chow one.
Right.
Yeah.
So you do moderation, folks. Don't go nuts on the booze, alcohol, and drugs, or whatever's getting you right now to keep you afloat. Actually, good guys, and John Hinman does a fantastic job, along with many other people with chow. I'd like to see that organization shine right now during a time where it's much needed. So thank you, John Hinman, for that. And let's see what else we've got here. Gigi says hi to Zach.
Hi, Gigi.
That's fantastic. Rebecca's active on here. People are just tuning in.
We have someone
They're
from
going
Arizona.
national tonight, John Hinman said.
Bam, baby.
We actually have JJ, who used to be a bartender over at Max's, who moved to Arizona and is with Ted's Montana, joined us all the way from Arizona. So, we're getting some people tuned in because a lot of what we're saying is going to happen in other markets, or it already is happening. And everybody needs an outlet.
And Max's, man, they dodged a bullet.
Oh.
They closed a week before the virus.
Oh, Max's Grill and Grill is what I meant, not Max's Wine
Grill
Dive.
and Grill. Oh,
yeah.
Also, Max's Grill and Grill, also a customer of ours. Those guys are fantastic.
So Dan and Kevin are dear friends of mine. We're going to actually be doing their friends and family takeout this weekend to support them. Get the Becky's chicken.
I'm in. Like I said, we're not eating our own food that often.
Standing by for Chris Laurita. This is unprecedented with what Italco Food Products is doing right now, and I think the purge is out of necessity. This isn't something they want to do. The food service chain is broken. Retail seems to be strong, but we're seeing who the real players are. I was at Natural Grocers on Leetsdale yesterday. It seemed like this was barren there. That's my regular shopping spot. It's like they just gave up.
The one on Broadway, by the way, has been plenty stocked.
Really?
The newer one, yeah, because the one next to Total Wine over off of University or Colorado, I'm sorry, forgive me, is kind of the same way. But the one off of Broadway and Alameda, now I'm giving my secrets away, but at least there's good product. I'm gluten free. It's a quick pickup for me down the street.
Sprouts look good.
Yeah, I heard Sprouts is good.
Sprouts look good, but Leevers Locavore, and
I heard they're great. Yeah,
Chris
they're doing
Franklin
good.
from Leevers Locavore. Again, who are the pros right now? The experience that he had with Trader Joe's, right?
Crushing. That dude is a pro. Chris has been coaching the Spice Guy for a long time. I met Chris a year and a half ago, I think, and he said, hey, everybody says I should get your spices in the store. We should do that. And I was like, oh yeah, we don't do retail, but I've got this other thing. And it was the vending machine idea. It was in 0 places. I probably lied to Chris and said there was already one in existence. But I was like, hey, I'm going to learn how to code and I'm going to make an app for it. And it's going to have all this stuff. And here's what it's going to do. What do you think? And he was like, yeah, cool, dude. Like, whatever. You're crazy.
How's the family?
Family's good. My wife is out of work. She does hair. So all the salons are mandated to shut down. So she's bumming.
She's currently underemployed.
She's underemployed, but she's full-time mom, and she's never a dull moment for her.
Can I get a haircut under the table?
Yeah, totally. Can we do it here?
No, it's not safe.
No,
I'll give you a haircut right now.
No, I actually used to be a hairdresser. I still am licensed and all the things, but I still go to someone else. But thankfully, in a pinch, sorry, Nicole.
Travis.
But if I can't go in, I can at least kind of do something with this other than wearing hats.
Yeah, hashtag tame the mane.
Exactly.
Travis Smith asks, what's Italco doing, Greg? Just hang in there. Chris Laurita should be joining us here any time now. As we continue, Zach, we're day 5. We'll check in with you throughout the weeks ahead, and it's going to be interesting to see what's new. And again, like you said, this is a time to where you just marvel on people's ingenuity and their marketing prowess of how they're going to keep their businesses to survive.
Yeah.
Because remember, the entrepreneurial spirit, that's a tough one to kill.
Can't kill that one. One more thing before I go.
Yes.
On our Instagram, there is a new post for hashtag too small to fail. And I have the numbers of both senators for Colorado in there.
Awesome.
So what we are as a food community asking everybody to do is call your senator and tell him, hey, we're not interested in this third round of programming bailouts, the third package, to be corporate bailout. We're looking to have these restaurants and small businesses independently owned in the same bailout program as a big corporation.
And why not?
And why not?
Why the hell not?
The restaurant industry makes up 33 million jobs in America.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a lot of help.
And it transcends into everybody's house, home.
It touches
everybody and everything.
So hashtag too small to fail. I've got both of the numbers for the senators on there. If you guys could just take 5 minutes and call them, it's not awkward. One of them you just leave a message, and one of them somebody will talk to you and hear you out.
Okay, follow that. It's the Spice Guy. What's your Instagram handle?
At the Spice Guy CO.
Perfect. And I just hashtagged in our chat on our live, too small to fail. And I do have something I want to share with you, actually, that kind of relates to the grocery that I just got on here. From Peter Fatno and Delinda.
Bye, Zach. I love you.
Bye, I love you.
See you soon.
Love you, Zach.
We'll do that one soon.
They are actually doing a grocery offering with their brand Indulge Bistro and Wine Bar, where they have actually taken a grocery menu. It's going to be packaged in forms of 4 steaks or 4 fillets, but they also are going to have all the meat, fish, veggies, fruit, bread, rice, pasta, paper products, sauces, and staples, including toilet paper. I think that's pretty darn cool of what they're doing, and they're kind of changing their model to be more grocery present too. Right now, we're seeing that's kind of more of a need.
There they are. Look at them. We've got them both.
Hey guys.
Hi. Hello, lady and gentlemen.
Hello to you guys. It's Chris and Mike Laurita. Gents, I'd say how's it going, but I think we're all in this same boat right now, huh?
Things. Can you see us or the warehouse right now?
We can see you and the warehouse.
We can see both of you guys.
Both cameras are on. Fancy.
This is cool. Okay, this is an interesting thing because I got a call from Chris today and left me a message. Said, give me a call back. There's something interesting going on over here at Italco Food Products. The theme of today's show, guys, is food service. The chain is broken. Retail, the chain is going, but it's getting just inundated and bogged down. You guys are, first of all, can you spend just a moment, you guys, to talk about Italco Food Products and what you do in your business model?
Well, our normal business model is bringing great products to all of our wonderful chefs, restaurateurs, hotels, catering companies, and specialty retailers throughout the Rocky Mountain region. 36 years in business, still family owned, second generation.
And we love what we do. It's all about food. Food is it's not fuel. It's a way of life for us and for the majority of our employees. It's been a very rough week around here. I've had to lay off 17 people. Chris and I have gone to zero salary. I've asked many of all of my managers to take big pay cuts. My sales guys are taking pay cuts. My warehouse people are down to minimal amount of hours, and there's not a lot of orders going out. So we're trying to figure out what we can do to make ends meet and get a lot of food out of here. And a lot of it, in some cases, is very perishable.
Yeah.
So, it might have 2 or 3 weeks shelf life left on it, and if it doesn't get sold, it's going to go in the trash.
We don't want that.
What a waste and what a sin.
Yeah, 2 things quickly, and we'll get on to that of what you're going to be doing moving forward. One of the things that you forgot about Italco Food Products is how much you do for this community. The things that you do, there's never a time where you say no. You've always been there for us, which is fantastic, but just pillars of this community and for so many years that right now is a chance for us to be able to help you guys out. So thank you for all that you do.
You're very welcome, and thank you for what you do for us and for the community also.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so there's never been a point in time to where Italco Food Products has opened up to the consumer, the home chefs, for folks that don't know what Italco does because they're on the food service end of it. What are you guys doing now as a pivot point for Italco?
It's on both sides. Well, I'm sorry. We got interrupted there.
No, you're fine. Basically, it was just a quick question, and it's leading you into what you're doing now. The pivot point is remarkable, and I think it's something that we fully understand why you're doing it, because you don't want these products to perish. But what are you doing as far as the offerings go now with Italco?
Well, we have talked about setting up a storefront. Hopefully, we'll have it set up by Wednesday, at the latest Friday of next week, to try and get rid of specifically, hopefully, the perishables. We had a sales meeting with what sales team we have left this morning. We talked about just different ways that we can help facilitate getting rid of it and helping the community. One of our friends, Law's Whiskey. I went over to talk to Al today and let him know that his employees and himself and his wife were more than welcome to come and shop at Italco. And he said, really? He said, we're setting up gift baskets for a bunch of bartenders that love our whiskey here in town.
Cool.
And so send me a list of the stuff that you need help with, and we'll be more than happy to buy it from you and send your products to the bartenders that support Law's Whiskey. So we're old guys with all this gray hair. We're trying to think outside the box. We've got help from some of our younger sales force, but we also need to try and figure out what to do and how to navigate this new strange world we live in.
Yeah, absolutely. We would have never guessed the forecast of this. It was a sucker punch right into the face of all of us. And I say face just to be polite about it. But what does that mean as far as an action plan, you guys? What is tangible? What's the call to action right now for folks?
Well, the call to action would be to obviously get all the perishables out, so that, like I said, what a sin for us to have to throw it in the trash as opposed to us selling it and getting it out to the consumers. For example, King Soopers, I reached out to King Soopers. I don't have, all I know is the ex-president of King Soopers from 20 years ago, and he reached out to a store manager because we've got 170 cases of burrata that are going to go out of date.
Oh,
beautiful burrata cheese, and I don't want it to go out of date. I want to get it out of here and get it used. And if King Soopers can buy it, great. And if they can't, hopefully they're watching this and we get a phone call Monday morning. We'll deliver it to the warehouse, and that's my biggest concern, is the waste that's going to occur, and not just with us, but with, I think, all the people that deal with food service. everybody is in the same boat. There's going to be just so much waste.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, look at that warehouse, and that's not even.
Have you been in their warehouse?
I have, yeah.
Amazing.
So I've done some of the spice classes there and some other things.
So what's the protocol?
Scroll as we're on here, just so everybody can see that our warehouse is full. We have a lot of products. So whether you're in our wonderful food family community, chefs, customers, and or Susie Homemaker that's watching your program, we have product, and we'd love to help everybody out right now that's in a bind that can't get any of these products at the grocery stores or have never been able to access a lot of the products that we up until now.
Yeah, it's called the ultimate pantry in my mind.
Yeah, you talk about the charcuterie you're going to get from out of there. Oh my gosh!
So guys, what do we do? Do we just show up and knock on the back door with a secret passcode, or is this an online process? Tell us more information on how to participate.
Right now, until launched, hopefully mid next week. What we would like to direct everybody to do would be to go to our website at www.italco.com and peruse our wonderful product. And
we're losing you a little bit
on there, and you can build a quote of all the products that you're interested in and submit that, and our sales rep will be in contact with you with pricing and how long it'll be before it'll be available and ready for, and potentially delivery, depending on where they're at throughout our region. Or delivery on metro. If it's metro area and it's general public, within 20 minutes to an hour, the product can be ready for them to come and pick up. What we're asking is that they prepay it in advance, either on credit card or have a check.
Cash.
And
hey guys,
we'll walk out to their car and load it in the car for them.
I like it. Stay put for a second, because I want to make sure that our connection is crystal clear. Stay put for just 1 second. So is there any order too small? I'm just trying to get a feel for really what this looks like.
I would say yes. We haven't really talked about setting a minimum yet. There could be a small delivery fee if somebody orders, $50 worth of something. Excuse me, and we need to deliver to Parker. I don't know that I can afford to. We can afford to do that. So there could be a nominal delivery fee of $10 or something. But that's sort of the thought process. Or ideally, they can just come and pick it up.
Mm-hmm. And then this isn't a.
While we're at it, any orders over $150, they get a wonderful tub or maybe two of this incredible burrata that we have that we don't want to throw in the trash.
I love it. A little perk, there. That's fantastic. Okay, so guys, will there be a point to where you open your warehouse up to the public at all so they could shop like a traditional store, or will this be all online? I know you have a great online catalog.
It'll basically be just online. With the outbreak of the coronavirus, we don't want to introduce any of that wonderful virus to our employees or to our facility. So that's why I said earlier, we'll run it out to their car if they're coming here to pick it up. Unfortunately, it's not open for regular grocery shopping.
Yeah, but you do have an opportunity.
I mean, this will be cleared out if they opened it. Can you imagine?
Guys, you seem like you're hanging in there again. You said, Mike, you said it. This isn't me. You said a couple old guys just figuring out how to survive. Before we get back to normal, and we want to get back to normal real soon, what are you guys doing with your customers? I mean, a lot of your customers are restaurants, and they're just falling off like flies right now. What do you do? And throughout the show, the theme for me is people do business with people. Brands don't do business with brands. I know you do a lot of business with good people, but what's the best practice right now as far as your accounts receivable and money that's floating out there?
Lots of prayers.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of money for, we're not a big company by any means, and there's a lot of money out on the street, and all I can do is hope that all of our great customers reopen. And I actually had my accounts receivable gal just ask me what she wanted to do, because we have a customer who picked up a will call today, and he paid COD for it, but they would like extended terms on their invoices. And that's all I can do is give them extended terms. And for those who have the money, hopefully they can at least pay part of it. And we're all in this together. I've got a vendor that I called. I just brought $50,000 worth of Parmigiano Reggiano in, and I called him and I said, so I need you to pick it up. And he said, how about if I give you like some really nice extended terms for like 90, 120 days? And I'm like, okay, because that's the only way that you can't not pick it up, because I'm not going to be able to pay for it and pay for my employees and the overhead that we have. So,
Yeah.
we have to be flexible. If the customer can put, $200, $300, $400 on their credit card once a month, great. If they can't, we're just going to have to, we're going to have to deal with it and be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone's in that boat right now, though. Unfortunately,
Guys,
on the retail world.
Folks that are tuning in right now, we've got the Laurita boys on here with us, Mike and Chris, and it's great to hear from you guys. I can't wait to see you face to face again, and I know we will get through this together. But no mistakenly, this has taken a big hit on you guys and a big toll. But I'm sure that there's ways that you're still continuing to give back to the community. Anything that we can look for down the line here of maybe that we can help participate with as far as an initiative?
Well, one of the things, one of my sales guys came up with a really great idea. So everybody's scared of this thing. All the restaurants are choking to death out there. I mean, it's scary for us, but these restaurateurs have nothing. And if you're able to go and buy a $25 or $50 gift certificate from 2 or 3 of your favorite restaurants and put a little money in their pockets so that they can feed their families, because they have no income, their restaurants are flat out closed. And then use that, you call it your restaurant savings account, or your whatever you want to call it. And then once things come back into shape and start reopening, they can use that. But they've helped that restaurant get through this really rough time.
Yeah,
and that one of my sales guys came up with it, and I'm like, that's a great idea.
Well, we've discussed too, making kind of thinking in it as the long term of a donation, also where if they may not come back to life, we hope they do. We hope they make it through this, but think of it as the donation to that gift card that you forget about, that gets stuck in a pile from Christmas or whatever for years and years, and suddenly it's expired.
I've got right now. But thank God, Alex at fruition, he decided to honor my gift for our 25th anniversary, and that was 4 years.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, gents, just lastly, do a quick recap, if you could, on exactly why we're talking to you and what the call to action is.
Try to support the restaurant distributor, because not only are the restaurants suffering, but the restaurant distributor is suffering.
Yeah. So Italco Food Products, they're opening up their pantry to you, the end consumer, on a retail standpoint. Go to their website. What is your website, guys?
www.italco.com.
Yeah, look at their products list, put together an order. You can reach out to somebody from their sales force. They'll put that order together for you, and then delivery or pickup. And it's a really unique opportunity. I'd say take a look at them. These are guys that have supported this industry for a long, long time, and we need them around to continue supporting us as much as they do. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
There they are.
Good.
No kidding. The Lauritas right there.
Oh, they're great. And they've got great products. That's the thing. I mean, this is your opportunity to.
I'm going to put together an order.
I have the website up looking right now. I mean, seriously, you can get some of the top dairy, some of the best accoutrements possible that you can't normally get in the store. Mm-hmm. It's unreal. I mean,
and I just saw him walk by the San Pellegrino right there. I need to get my San Pellegrino stocked up.
True.
See if it works in there.
Sure. Jay, I guess we're back on with these guys.
Hey.
Where are you going to go into the cooler or the freezer?
Well, we'll see if we've got connection in the cooler, but
it'll probably drop.
There's a lot of boxes. There's a lot of other fun stuff that might be visible if you want to do this.
Yeah, man. Take a peek.
Yeah. I mean, just going through their website, there's.
We're in.
All of our dry fruits loud in here.
Oh, we're losing it.
We're starting to.
We're kind of in.
We're kind of in.
Dried fruits and nuts. We've got over 3.
I think we're losing him.
Well, we made a good effort there. Italco, you guys, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
He's popping in and out. Okay, coming up in the next segment as we talk about today's...
He's not on the broadcast right now.
Oh, he's not?
Oh, okay.
No. Do me a favor, sneak over here and just pop off that so he's out of my ear there. Coming up on the show, we're going to be joined by, at 3:30, so just in about 12 minutes, joined by Chris Franklin from Leevers Locavore. Again, we're showing the difference right now that's very apparent, Rebecca, between the chain it being broken. As you see the graphic behind us in food service, it's just decimated. When one of those chains, when one of those links goes down in the chain, it crumbles. And as restaurants are just being destroyed right now, food service is suffering from every aspect, from the producers to the distributors, the manufacturers, all the way down the line as people jockey for position of how can they actually find an end-to-consumer retail link to at least give a diversion to that chain.
Well, Greg, it's like riding a bike, right? And your chain comes off, and you kind of come to that you're speeding along, you come to that stop. And you have to get off and resituate and figure out how to put it back together. Yeah. And I think that's where we're at right now.
With a bike, there's no, you may be able to coast. There's no coping, right?
No, there's no coasting right now.
So Chris Franklin will be on at 3:30. Also, I mean, and this is great. 4 p.m. Sonia Riggs, she has just been showing.
She's amazing.
Just what a valuable asset for all of us on a local, state, and federal level of just lobbying for things that we need. Although the frustration is out there for small businesses, as I just see the war on small businesses is just a barrage of left-right punches, and the knockout punch is coming to many businesses right now. There are some loans, small business loans that are available, but as we look at in the margins of the restaurant business, and bars, you just to float another loan or to be saddled with more debt, that generally is the knockout punch to a lot of people. And so that support is just off the table to begin with. I know the word bailout seems just terrible because it's been taken advantage of with banks and. But
we, as Brother Luck said, we didn't do anything wrong.
We didn't, and we need to change that lexicon because it isn't a bailout. I see it as just a helping hand, and if there's somebody or anybody, the small businesses right now, I don't want to live in that world of corporate bureaucracy to where you just drive down a street and it's so sterile and no flavor because you're just looking at the big box stores of the world. What a terrible world to live in with that. But make no mistake that those are really the folks that see a clear path to the other side of this terrible coronavirus outbreak. Small businesses just don't know how to pick up these pieces or even what pieces are there to be picked up. It's just a matter of triage right now of people just trying to put the Band-Aids on hemorrhaging wounds. And it's a difficult thing to be watching right now, especially the pivot points are very heartwarming to me because I love seeing these business people, or just people in general, doing so much for their communities, their neighborhoods, trying to be optimistic, trying to have a smile on their face. But you got to wonder deep down inside, is it just all for naught? And that's a terrible way to look at it. But
we're getting, on each end of the spectrum, right? We have people who are like, I'm throwing in the towel, I'm done. We have people who are like, you know what? It's going to be great. We're going to get through this. We're going to come out stronger. Then we have those who are like, we're just trying to get by and make it through. So we've got, it's an interesting mix. And day by day, I think we have some different conversations that pull in different directions. And I think as, again, a community, we have to stick as one, but it's hard. It's hard right now. We are on Greg's Coffee and day 5.
Day 5. Out of many, Rebecca. We wanted to document the days as they go by because they're all very defining. From day 1, they're changing just so quickly. There are some things that are remaining the same, and what's remaining the same is that what's certain right now, Rebecca?
Uncertainty. And, I have to say, we started doing the show originally more in the evening, and at night now, with us doing it a little bit earlier, it gives me time to come out of this and reflect. I was going to bed, and I was wound up, and it's the last thing on my mind because I'm coming home. I know you guys are too. And it's eating me inside. And I feel like this gives me a little time too during the day for us to address things, but allow people to go home and kind of step away from it now as best they can.
Yeah, a message just came in off the Facebook feed. Robert Cunningham says it's tough to take a hit when you didn't do anything wrong, but the food service people, workers, and owners have always been among the most resilient and innovative and creative people in the world, not just in Denver. I wholeheartedly agree. Let me take a moment right now and an opportunity to talk about these guys. And this is how this programming works out. That, we need sponsors too. Our sponsors are all food and beverage related folks. And to ask them to do the same thing and as their businesses are changing, but to help support this show so this programming comes out to you, just know Proud Souls Barbecue and Provisions. These are great guys, and they wanted to take a moment to let you know that their business is open. Who are Proud Souls? These guys are the experts in barbecuing, and I can't think of a better way than your backyard barbecue needs. You're going to be cooking a lot at home, but here's the deal. A lot of people, in light of these current events, these are what the following changes that they're doing. Is now they're offering free local delivery service that includes all supplies that you could possibly want for your grilling and barbecuing needs. So get this, they're going to deliver to you. You just don't even need to go out. Hunker down and get your meats, pellets, charcoal, wood, seasoning, sauces, grills, and accessories. All you got to do is give them a call, 720-612-7324. This is Proud Souls Barbecue and Provisions, 720-612-7324. 7324. They accept all forms of payments, and all you need to do is just get that shopping list together. Curbside pickup also available, and again, that delivery option. So again, those are the guys. Proud Soul Barbecue and Provisions. Rebecca rejoins us as we're on day 5 of a very unique spot on a Friday. It is March 20th. Last week, a week ago, where the news came down that our lives were being changed dramatically in just one fell swoop. It was Friday the 13th. Last week was very, very strange. Got even stranger on Monday when we call it day 1. Day 1 is when Mayor Hancock came out to say, here's what Denver's going to be doing as far as restaurants being closed down, their dining rooms and their lobbies. That would be it for that. The reality would change to curbside delivery and food pickup. And it's just astonishing to see. It's kind of, Katie bar the door. Things are changing. Every man and woman for themselves, and this is the new normal where anything goes. I couldn't believe it when I heard it, but Governor Polis announced that restaurants may sell alcohol for takeout. I mean, that's just wide open. I mean, unprecedented with all of the things around alcohol. What's next? They're going to allow dispensaries to be able to, who knows, deliver marijuana to your house. Maybe a little stretch.
In some states.
Well, they do, and this might be a fast track for that. But more and more, we're looking at a situation to where we're just trying to have as little contact with each other as possible. The social distancing is real. You know, wash those hands. People know to do that.
Make your own sanitizer if you have to.
Not everybody's that fancy. But, you know, what are the implications for restaurants to be able to sell alcohol for takeout? What do the containers have to look like? Do the delivery drivers have to be 21? Will you pay for a mixed drink to come to your house? What are the types of things? But it's going to get creative. And when they open up alcohol, that's going. What do you guys think on our Facebook? If you're on any other Facebook page besides the Modern Eaters Facebook page, you're going to want to jump over to where, Rebecca?
To the Modern Eater Facebook on Facebook.
Yep. Click on our stream. That's where all the comments are going to be coming. At least the ones that we will see. So if you have a comment that you want to get to us, I want to know your reaction as the Front Range reacts to restaurants that may be able to sell alcohol for takeout. What's your reaction to that? Do you think it's a responsible thing to do? You know, personally, I think it's interesting. If there's still ways to get alcohol, I don't know why you need to do that. Although restaurants, I know their margins. If you're selling booze at a restaurant, that's where your money's to be made. It's not in the food. Right. So I get the mentality, but I don't want anybody taking that to-go container that they pick up curbside and drink it on the way home.
Yeah, but Greg, you can go now to a gas station and get a White Claw if you wanted to and drink it on the way home. I mean, you know.
Listen, I understand. And I think right now what we're seeing, Rebecca, is they're just saying, you know, be responsible. Don't be a jackass.
And I think this minimizes more places that people go. And I still want to support liquor stores. I want to support everybody. Liquor stores already have delivery. So if you are going out and you're making that one trip to get your meal, and you want that nice bottle of wine that you want to go with your steak that you're picking up, they can do it all in one. And they can also cater to it then by this is what we have. You know, we're going to have a lot of controversy on this. And, you know, we'll see
how it shakes out. I want to see how people are treating it.
Well, I'd also like to know when we speak to Sonia, she may not have all the updates on the containers and laws. I do believe they will say you have to supply some sort of food with that. So if you are
But listen, they'll make it a bag of chips.
Right.
And people will give away a little teeny bag of chips just to be able to. Right. But you're right. Some bars I know of don't have any food at all.
Hazel, the Cocktail Lounge Hazel has no food, no kitchen, but they're willing. Tori Schumacher has been live with us the last few days. She is willing to provide that food to go with that beverage.
Tori, you better be sharing this stream along with everybody else that's watching right now. Please, it goes a long ways. And as much as this virus is affecting our community, make this stream go viral because we want that goodness in our lives, that good virus. Robert Cunningham is back and mentions, unfortunately, some people who deserve to make it will not. And it's not their fault. And they should try again. I wholeheartly agree with that. Yeah. And a lot of times the entrepreneurial spirit, that's as resilient as you could possibly have. So, keep on keeping on. And networking is a big thing right now. So during practicing social distancing, please don't forget about who you have been involved with, business-wise, family-wise, so on and so forth. You have to maintain.
Stay connected. We're doing a happy hour at my house tonight virtually when I get home with friends in Seattle, friends who live around the corner. Yeah. Just to stay connected because we are trying, especially because the three of us are in studio 5 to 7 days a week now. And so we're trying to stay healthy and safe and keep everything very, very clean. But we still want to see our people and joke about things and kind of let some steam off.
I feel like there's a little bit of normal in life. Daniel Eckert joins the stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, the Modern Eater stream.
Keep sharing.
Every single day, 2 to 5 p.m. Saturdays, we resume our normal show on 630 KHOW, our local iHeart radio station. That's from 6 to 8 p.m. We will have programming for you tomorrow night. So tune into the Modern Eater show tomorrow night. We'll kind of recap what that week looks like. So we have been standing by. He's joining us now. Again, the theme for today is retail versus food service. We're seeing that food service is just being decimated with the links in the chains being destroyed and retail just surging ahead. But some of the surge they are just not able to handle. So just seeing that dichotomy, that up and down between retail and food service. We talked to the Lauritas in the last segment, talking about something unheard of, Italco food products opening up their doors to the general public, not their doors, but the ability to be able to get into their products in their warehouse and have that available is something that's never, ever, ever happened. Again, the retail portion of this thing, we want to address, and he's joining us now. I think he's trying to get his camera the way that he wants it, because I keep seeing it go back and forth and up and down. But standing by for Chris Franklin from Leevers Locavore. And again, who are the pros out there? Some shelves are just empty and barren, and they're trying to jockey for getting more products in and all of that panic buying that's going on.
It is. And I think it's, I guess, actually, I don't know. To be honest, I was going to say, I think it's lessening a little bit. I'm seeing less and less people out and about as I make my way over here. I pass a couple grocery stores on my way. But you know, you just don't know.
Here he is. Okay, Chris Franklin,
hey, Chris.
Leevers Locavore, and welcome to the show. I can't wait to get your insight on this dichotomy between food service and retail.
Well, thanks for having me out. I wish it were under better circumstances, but excited to be here.
Thank you so much. Now, first of all, with you, do you mind just a second, because I think this really qualifies you. You're no rookie in this business. You've been in the retail groceries for quite some time. You've worked in the past with opening stores, Trader Joe's, I believe, but your experience is vast. Do you mind giving us a little rundown of who you are, Chris?
Well, I spent about 6 years in the restaurant industry. That was quite a while ago, so I do have a little bit of that background, but obviously that's kind of dated at this point. Spent 15 years with Trader Joe's, opened a lot of stores, worked in several different states, and about a year ago came over and joined the Leevers team to start the Locavore concept. So kind of got a chance to see the what it's like from the perspective of a large chain, and then also that independent grocery store where we are now too. So that got both backgrounds there.
Nobody expected this to happen.
Here we are. I was just going to say, it was just a week ago that, my wife and I went out to Stanley Marketplace, and we're trying to, getting happy hour to net and trying to visit the, local retail shops in there and just show a little support. And then everything changed. So.
Yeah. And the sad thing about that is that the next time you go into Stanley, probably a lot of those businesses won't still be there.
Yeah, it's tragic. We're, I think 3 or 4 months ago, everyone thought that the grocery industry was not the industry to be in. You had Lucky's closing down, some other chains across the country. So through it all, no matter what, I think that the grocery store employees are just grateful to be working right now. We know it just as easily could have been the other way around. And so I think we feel a special bond to everybody out there who's sort of negatively impacted right now.
Okay, let's dig in. What are we seeing right now with the rush and surge on buying and foods? You're seeing that trending up as of last week. I have some folks that say that's going to trend down now, that everybody got that initial rush and they've got the produce, but now they're at home and they're like, man, I bought a bunch of stuff. I ate a lot of it. I'm tired of cooking. I want to have that feel good thing inside of myself. The climate is a little bit adjusted right now to where we at least know you can get delivery and curbside with restaurants, and knowing that they need the support so much. Do you see a pendulum swinging back the other way and slowing down for retail?
I think to some extent things might level off a little bit, which is probably healthiest for everyone. I mean, of course, we're excited and trying to do everything we can to build our sales right now. But, I think that we none of us want to see anybody else negatively impacted. So from my perspective, that panic buying, buying every bag of pasta and rice in the store, and that eventually wears off. And so now we're seeing a shift back to probably a more sustainable model with, produce and meat and perishables, and got a little bit more of the reality. It was like we saw a run on yeast, for example. I think a lot of people went home and started baking bread and realized I don't ever want to do that again. So, so I think that there'll be a little bit of a shift in that for sure. But I think overall there's, people do need to spend money on food, and it is a perishable item. And so we'll continue to see an overall increase.
Yeah, retail groceries, boy, it's almost been one of those things for me is just hide and watch. I just didn't want to eat. It's sad. I'm just so sad. It saddens me to death to go into grocery stores and see what Americans are faced with, and in just 1 second respond to this. But with that sadness is not wanting to deal with that. but it's also seeing how are grocery stores handling this. And I really don't want to call them out name by name, but some are winning, some are losing. What are the difference makers right now in winning and losing in the grocery store retail?
Well, I think that overall right now, it really depends on the concept. At Leevers Locavore, we're getting more of that neighborhood business, and we're not the place to go get a pallet of toilet paper. And so I think our customers are a little bit different in what they're looking for. I think for us, it's the kind of thing where we're really able to move quickly, being an independent and be adaptable. And I know this was a topic earlier with some of the restaurant food service suppliers. It was, we knew right away that we were going to be pretty low on the totem pole for those wholesale grocery distributors. And so right away we started calling up the restaurant partners and see what they could do to supply us food, try to create that win-win. So I think for us, we were able to adapt pretty quickly. Obviously, there's still some areas where we're not where we'd like to be stock-wise, but overall, it was just who can move and who can adapt quickly to get food in the store.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Getting food in the store is a big thing. We're seeing, so you do have that service industry. You're seeing the disruption with the link being broken with that. Are there any links that are being broken or that need help right now within the retail grocery aspect?
I think right now, at least from my perspective, you hear all the horror stories of, the bad behavior happening in grocery stores. And our experience was very different. You saw people being kind. We didn't put limits on anything. We just said, please take what you need. And so from our perspective, that part was pretty good. The biggest thing that concerns me right now, and I think everyone's trying to react to it, is just that there were basically two different avenues to get food in. You had kind of the food service side and the retail side. And one was running out and doing everything they could to buy it, while meanwhile, a smaller store like me is calling the restaurant suppliers, and they're just so grateful to be able to have something that's not being wasted, and that we're able to support their business a little bit there as well. So I think, maybe somewhere down the road, we'll really look at our food supply and how to make it a little bit more nimble and adaptable.
Mm-hmm. What struck me that you said moments ago, and I know we had the opportunity to catch up as you just weeks before Leevers opening, you gave me the tour, which I couldn't believe how quickly all of that came together. I appreciated seeing that, but in conversations we said, hey, listen, don't think that our competition is the 7-Eleven down the street. Truly, of what people do on a daily basis. You talk about neighborhoods and community. I think you're probably experiencing some folks that are coming into Leevers that may not have ever been there before. What are you hoping the takeaway for those people is?
Well, number one, I hope that they can come in and see that there's a completely different shopping experience in our store, that there's, our team, the people working there, even though they've been working nonstop, have been really just committed on customer service and keeping everything clean and safe and sanitized in spite of, for a lot of us, this is the first day we've had off since this all started. And once again, we're grateful to even be working. So don't take that the wrong way. But I think we're seeing people come in and just be grateful that we're open and to kind of have a little bit more of a positive experience overall. And so they found out we do have staples, or that we've adapted even in the few months since we've opened. And so for us, it's been positive, and some of the feedback on social media just about the experience when they go in is something that we're really excited about in the long term. But in the short term, to be honest, the motivations are so much more simple than that. It's what can we do to get food in? What can we do to take care of customers coming in the door? And then we have a really unique situation too, where we have these. We actually have 3 independent restaurants and an independent butcher shop and floral shop inside the store. We kind of have that. We're a little bit more of that hybrid. And so we've been really working together on how can we partner with them and really help them, especially since they've been hurt in so many different ways. So a quick example there on the, working with River Bear American Meats and Culture Restaurant inside there in Johnston, Brunson. It was, I'm willing to cut back on some of my services to allow you to bring in some of the prepared meals and restaurant component to kind of help subsidize some of the loss that they've had. Obviously, it's a drop in the bucket, but every little bit helps. And so there's been a lot of collaboration and teamwork among those independent businesses in there as well.
Well, let's talk about that experience that you briefly spoke about as far as Leevers go. Can you still grab a beer and go around and shop
Well, great question. Up until about 48 hours ago, you could. We wanted to keep that going as long as possible. So the initial change was getting rid of the seating, and the guidance that we had was a little bit confusing because it said grocery stores were exempt from from some of the recent standards that came out. So we were erring on the side of caution right now and just want to get some clarification. So the idea was, yes, you could come in, get a glass of wine, grab a beer, walk around the store, but we've had to pull out a lot of our seating just in an abundance of caution there. So hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon. But you can still buy it.
You can still buy it. We do have a packaged beer store.
Good selection
there as
too.
well. Oh yeah, lots of local beers in there. That's our bread and butter. We got a few other options in there too. But yeah, we still have the beer. You can still come in and get a cup of coffee. We have those 3 restaurants in there, so their carryout business is going strong. It's that chance to do some grocery shopping, get some sushi, charcuterie, whatever it is, and grab some beer and then go hunker down for a while. So
yeah, the premium stuff, man. I got to tell you, and a lot of friends doing business with you over there. But like you said, River Bear American Meats, that's the standard, man. You want the good stuff, the good meats. That'll do it. You work with Growers Organic with your produce as well.
Yep.
You have a lot of good fresh stuff in there. But kind of just take a couple of minutes to just really highlight what all the offerings that Leevers Locavore has for you.
Yeah, well, overall, we kind of view our concept as, being for some of the local producers who maybe are a little bit too large for the farmers market, but not quite big enough for the grocery chains. So wherever we can, wherever it makes sense, we've got local products in there, whether it's, we've got some great microgreens. I know that we were talking about that earlier. So we're still able to keep some produce year round. Altius Farms, right there in Rhino, came through really big for us, just tripled their deliveries. Awesome. And so you're seeing so many examples like that. And then as you go throughout the store, it goes beyond just hot sauce. It's true partnership with local businesses. And, obviously we've got some national brands to supplement that where it makes sense. But what we found in the last week is it was the small people loading up a pickup truck and bringing that food out to us that they kept us in business when maybe some of the larger chains out there were running out of food. So.
You must have heard the interview. You just mentioned it with Andy McArdle from Mountain Man Micro Farms. When you hear those types of heartbreaking stories of businesses that shrivel up and died in 24 hours because they're completely food service based, and maybe I'm reaching though, in your mind, in your business mind with retail, is there any advice that you can give these folks that are all food service, the all food service model of anything that they can do right now, because everybody's just grasping for answers?
Well, I think that part of it is reaching out maybe on the retail side to see if there's anybody that can help in the short term. The real challenge is the retailers are so busy right now that it's hard to go through and have all these individual conversations. I struggle with that on a daily basis. As far as having time to spend with everybody who needs it. So I think it's just cast a wide net and, reach out to any connection. I think it's one of the things that saved us were some of those local relationships. And so they've got that, and just knowing that there are people out there that want to help and do what they can. But the reality is this is unprecedented. And instead of planning a week out, it's day by day and hour by hour. And so we certainly feel for all of them and trying to do everything we can to support local whenever we can.
Mm-hmm. How about Leevers? Are you fielding requests, folks have products that were in the food service chain? Just asking.
Sure. So we are getting some requests for that right now. I think the first week, though, like I said, was more about just doing anything we could. So that was us reaching out, contacting our partners, figuring out how we could get that food in. I think the next week is going to bring where things are going to kind of settle in, and we'll have people, that's where we'll start to adjust. I mean, right now it was, if we can find toilet paper from an office supply company in Massachusetts, we brought in pallets of it to sell. Next week is we'll kind of settle in and figure out what we can do and who needs help. And I think that's one thing I've seen with us partnering with restaurants is it's a pretty tight knit group, and you can't help all, but they've been letting us know, here's somebody who really needs some help right now. And we've tried to do what we can, but, and hopefully everybody is.
How about pricing? You seeing pricing remaining the same?
I hope so. I think anybody right now that's trying to gouge and profit off of this, that's just a horrible thing to do. Yeah. As a matter of fact, we've had to adjust some the other way because we couldn't use our traditional supplies. We had to bring some things in where we weren't getting necessarily the wholesale pricing and the discount we're used to. And like, for instance, I use that toilet paper example. We cut our profit margin in half on that just because the price was naturally going to be higher. And believe me, that's not where we want to make our money right now. That's not what we're about. So I think that where you might see it are in those, hopefully produce remains the same as things kind of stabilize and we're still growing the same amount, but you'll have certain areas like pasta, some of the more commodity type items that I think it's all up in the air right now.
Mm-hmm. So for the folks that joining us right now, and thank you so much for your time. It's very valuable. I'm sure you want to get reacquainted with your family after this week, and we'll get you right back to that. Leevers Locavore, his name's Chris Franklin. And as we're talking about the damage, if any, that's happening to retail, safety right now, as far as employees go, and as far as somebody that may have the question, like, should I not eat produce right now? Or are there certain things that are prepackaged for me? Is that safe for me to eat? What are you hearing, and what's some of the feedback you'd like to give those folks?
That's a great question, and I can't pretend to know all the answers on that. So we're trying to follow every recommendation imaginable. But I think general rule is that we're trying to do everything we can to keep as many surfaces as clean and sanitized as much as possible. I think the reality is any food that someone's purchasing right now is going to have sort of multiple hands on it. So the more responsible everybody is from start to finish, and then the more that consumer takes it home and is careful about. If it's let's say a green pepper and it's in a plastic wrap, I don't know that that's any more sanitary than a green pepper. Go home, wash it, clean it. And that's my general take on it. And so I just want to spend my money with people that I feel like are being really conscientious. And actually, one of the things that I think it's kind of unprecedented in the grocery industry, but starting this Sunday, we're actually going to close down for an hour in the middle of the day. We're taking the opposite approach, and we hope it's the right one. But most stores are shrinking their hours, and I understand why they're doing it for their teams and to clean and to sanitize. But I think what you're doing is forcing a larger number of people into a smaller window of time. And so we're going to try a different approach for a couple of days and actually close down from 2 to 3 each day, give our team a chance to eat safely, give our customers kind of a little bit of a break in there, and then we're just going to really just clean and sanitize everything. I just don't think there's a way, realistically, in spite of all the precautions we took, to keep the place sanitized straight for 12 hours. And so this is going to give us that big process. So it'll be inconvenient, but we like it.
I think that's brilliant, though. I mean, we're seeing. So Sonia said it? The days are flowing together. So forgive me, we're on day 5. But that she would much rather go somewhere where there are less people, like picking up food to go, versus standing in a grocery store where everybody's compacted as the hours get shorter and shorter. Too, you're forcing that cattle call in, which is not much safer, in my opinion.
And here's what struck me is, here's the first thing that came to my mind. And Rebecca, you're right over the target there. It's brilliant to do something like that. The first thing that popped into my head is Great American Beer Festival. They'd never have the beer festival all day long. You got to take a pause. You got to regroup. You got to clean. You got to get ready, and you have to be ready for another wave of that. I think that's great to do that. Along those same lines, people are talking about, how can we keep our elderly safe? How can we maybe have them shop, alone? And I don't even know if that's reasonable or feasible, but is that something you're addressing as well?
Yeah, it sure is. We would love to have more options available, but at the same time, we're nervous about limiting services to everybody. So what we're doing is kind of following the trend that's out there of 7 to 8 a.m. Starting on Sunday is going to be for the elderly customers. One of the things that's important to us, we do have the coffee bar. We want to keep coffee open, and so we have the ability of having a separate entrance to the patio. So if you still want to come in and grab coffee, or it'll be a separate entrance, we'll be able to keep that safe and monitored. And then, of course, I've got people there if we need to grab somebody something. If somebody just needed a bag of oatmeal or whatever the case is, we can take care of that. But that's our strategy there. And if we need to adjust going forward, like I said, it's a week or day by day and hour by hour at this point. So
I know. And everybody's running off a lot of the honor system right now, which I find remarkable. In times like this, you think it'd be the other way around, where it's just like, freak out. But I'm not seeing much of that. But that's cool too. That'd be cool if you were to open up to, like, if you're shopping for somebody who's elderly, to be able to be included in that. I don't know how you would determine whether they're telling you the truth or not, but you'd just be a crappy human being.
I think that just opens up a whole nother can of worms, Greg, to be honest, because we've been pretty decent on the honor system, but the whole point of having the elderly separate is to separate them from anywhere else that we may be touching and going. And you know, something I want to touch on with the produce, Chris, is it's also up to us as consumers to be wise about. I mean, I carry hand sanitizer in my car, in my purse now, everywhere. I wipe down my computers last night. I wipe them down when I get here. Everything is very clean. Our mics every night are wiped down. But go home and wash your produce. Use the produce spray. Yeah. Use lemon juice if you don't have the produce spray, or soak your vegetables and fruits.
Or wash your reusable bags. That's another big thing right now. That's so critical. And I think it brings, on the honor system and having elderly shoppers in the store, just keep in mind in the retail industry, I've got, I have team members that work for me that might fit into that category. And so, and they're there every day. And once again, we're all grateful to have jobs at this point with everything going on, but they're also putting themselves at risk to the people coming in the store. And so the more that customers can also help us out by being safe. And so thank you for mentioning all that. The more that it keeps us, safe and healthy and able to work, because without them, it doesn't matter how much food we have if there's nobody to sell it. So,
right.
Responsibility. Right now, there's also, during times like this, you see people that try and rush to where they see the money is and not stay in their lane. Are you seeing that folks are trying to set up grocery stores just out of the blue and get going and doing what they can? What's going on in that market right now?
I haven't seen that. I know a lot of restaurants, or the word pivots come up quite a bit today. And, from my perspective, great. The last thing in the world I want is food being wasted right now. And that's kind of another side, too, that the food banks are also, missing out on the donations from the grocery stores. So something to keep in mind there. But I think at this point, the next week is going to be where everybody really reacts and adjusts. And so we'll have to wait and see what happens from there.
Mm-hmm. I love that hoodie you have.
Yeah,
I know. I want one of those.
Leevers Locavore hoodie. I was like, today's the first day. No shaving hoodie. It's all coming apart.
I want to challenge you and everybody else. I just thought of this, and I love the brand Leevers Locavore. But do this next time I see you. I want to see you supporting another business.
Got it. We'll try every day. That sounds great. Let's do it.
We can swap gear.
I'm going to do the same thing. I don't know if we're swapping gear.
I'm kidding. I've been trying to. So seriously, I did ask on a serious note today on one of my Facebook posts was whoever's doing curbside or grocery retail, are you selling gear with your curbside? Because
it's a great way to support.
I would love, and I'm not saying give it to me. I'm selling. I'm willing to purchase a hat or a jacket if I can, something that I can rotate on the show here to support other brands. I've done Deviation, Max's, Angelo's, my company, but I'd love to do more to promote the brands in the community.
Angelo's 3 times
because I can't. My Max's hat is at Andy's, and I've kidnapped him to my house, and I don't have any other hats.
I'm shopping there. Leevers is on my list. Leevers Locavore. That I'm heading there probably this afternoon to not only support, but just to know that you do business with a lot of the folks that I believe in and want to support. I can't thank you enough for that. Leevers Locavore. If you didn't know about them before, now you do. That's a way that if you want to keep some of your money here locally, it's a great way to do that. In closing, Mr. Franklin, anything that you'd like to leave our audience with?
Just that I know it's a tough time for a lot of people right now, and it always makes great news to talk about all the bad stuff going on. But I've seen more good behavior from team members working from us, from customers than I have in a long time. So I think those are the ones that aren't as fun to report, but just know that they're happening out there. And
it's great.
You mind if we check in with you maybe once or twice a week just to kind of keep that temperature of what local retail food is looking like?
That sounds great. And when you come out this week, check out Zach Johnston's the time machine there. So
I can't wait to see it. I am so excited.
I am too, man. Thank you.
Chris,
it's
you
been
so
too long.
much.
Yeah, a pleasure. We'll catch up soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I have learned so much about retail today. I've been so restaurant. I mean, I have a background in all of it through my whole restaurant hospitality industry.
Your hand sanitizer, the shape of that keeps throwing me
I
off.
know. I need to order new bottles. It was all I could do, and they were silicone sanitary.
Show people what I'm talking about.
Am I really going to have... No, I'm not doing this today.
Show 'em.
Okay, it's hand sanitizer.
Nice. Are you sure?
But
is there a battery
here, it doesn't
in that?
leak.
Okay.
There's no leakage. Well, I guess so. Never mind, Greg.
What?
It is Friday.
I need to grab a laugh when I can get
I know.
a laugh, right?
But I have learned a lot today about just, the trickle-down effect and every other aspect that we're coming from. We've been 110% focused as everything happened on our restaurant piece, but just everything that touches our entire industry, we are all so highly affected.
All right, let's go through these comments. Guys, we're taking comments on the Modern Eater Facebook stream. So if you're in this for any other room, get to the Modern page, get a like while you're there.
A funny comment.
Give us just anything that you'd like to say. Just say hello to us. And Zach, who was just here, Zach Johnston, send me a new wave old-fashioned. Okay, he wants an old-fashioned. Tori's
doing her best to get him one. And I said, Tori, you probably have your first customer on your to-go orders.
That's right. Daniel Eckert, not all liquor stores can deliver.
Which is true.
By the way, great shows. You two rock. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Guys.
J.W. Leevers, the least we can do is ease tensions. Paul Huddleston, chef, joined the stream.
Hey, chef.
Crazy John Irvin. John Irvin, Kroger's and Publix is already having old people shop. I don't know what that quite means. Or a time for old people. Okay, that clears that up a little bit. Dave Avery says, probably I'm stopping by Leevers on the way home. Check it out, Dave. Give me a heads up, even though I think...
Can you send us a video, Dave, when you head there? We'd love to see the machine.
Yes, see Zach Johnson's time machine. Please comment as much as you can and also share this stream. We are standing by. We have a 4:00 appointment with
incredible.
Yeah, Sonia Riggs.
You guys, again, first and foremost, we get Sonia immediately after most things. We are very fortunate. She is just an incredible asset to our community right now, and you're not getting hearsay. You're hearing what's coming directly from the meeting she got out of.
Yeah, and she said, all right, she had a large conference call with a lot of service. I can't wait to hear what she says.
This is going to be big.
Sonia Riggs standing by for her Colorado Restaurant Association. But most of the response and emails they're getting back are people that are sounding off on restaurants being able to sell alcohol with takeout and delivery. It's remarkable. It's unheard of, especially in a time that we've come a long ways to kind of scale back the safety of alcohol and alcohol consumption and who can do it and when they can do it. And it's looking more and more like it just we're going to give you this, behave yourself, be responsible.
I think we're going to pull it back when things get back to normal, though. I really do. I think that we have to.
That'd be cool if they didn't, right?
Well, that's also, so I'm in agreement on this sale of it right now. I do think you need to pull it back because then you have the guy who's leaving the bar who takes a bottle with them or a gal, No.
Well, we already have an uncorked law.
We do. However, I just think that this is a time that we are trying to bring our community and our industry some revenue. And most people are going to do their pickup and going straight home. Mm-hmm. And, the more this thing unfolds, I think we're going to spend more time at home. And so, again, as I said before, which I know you're in disagreement a little bit because of the cost of it, but it's also bringing revenue to that stream.
I am cheap, and especially right now, a lot of people's income streams have just dissolved,
they're gone.
Right? And so I can't imagine. I mean, going to a restaurant in the first place was before all of this madness of COVID-19 was very difficult because cocktails aren't cheap.
No, if you have 3 cocktails, you're out almost $40 plus with tips and tax. And
so will it still look the same way? Is what I wonder.
I don't know, and I don't know if they're going to have a markup or require restaurants to just.
Can't wait to learn more about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of our viewers are excited to hear about that too, and what the containers look like, and.
So, Jay Parker here. Sonia says, "Give me a couple minutes."
Yeah, I was going to say.
She said she
was on conference call, and then she had some some calls to make, to put out some fires, to field some calls. She was going to do that and then join us. But for folks that have questioned, like the Colorado Restaurant Association, what do they do? You know, what have they done? What have you done for me lately? Well, listen, you're finding out right now. Colorado Restaurant Association, as they're sending out great information to people on a daily basis, and also opening up their membership
That's
news.
what I was just going to hit on. Yeah. So Fourth, my company, is a proud sponsor of the Modern Eater and the CRA. They've been two great avenues for information, for resources, for me to be allowed to push out to the community and to my friends and family and customers and clients. But what they are doing is opening up to be able to receive their information via email. So you don't have to search for it. You don't have to ping and ask. If you go on to corestaurant.org, there is a spot where you can opt into the email in that first paragraph on the front page. It'll give you all the updates on all the legislation, coronavirus updates, and allow you to be knowledgeable and aware right away. They send out emails as soon as they go through, critique them, have somebody edit them.
Sometimes they're like at 11 o'clock at night.
The other night I got one at 11:49. I'm not kidding. And then another one at 9:30. They are not sleeping. The reason that I really pushed for us to sponsor them was for the advocacy, because I know what they're capable of when moments like this happen. They're in the background doing a lot of stuff that you don't know about during the downtime.
And they're on the firing line. They're on the firing line, and really, they'd like to see things move faster when it's either local, state, or on a federal basis. You know, as much as they want a lot of things for us or for the restaurants and for the employees, and to make it happen like that, you know, red tape, but disallows that a lot of times. But they're there and they're pushing and they're continually making that voice. There's frustration that was ringing out yesterday from small business owners and restaurants alike, just saying, where's the help? That was the theme of yesterday's shows, is that there really isn't any out there. There are some small business loans that are available, but again, in the restaurant industry, with such small margins, that's not a reasonable thing to float some more debt moving forward into the future. So that's just a lot of people saying that's not help.
And they can't prevent the unknown. This was the unknown to all of us. And as soon as this hit, though, you bet. I mean, I was at Drink Red, Wear Red. I actually got that in a flow. I've said it so much now. What, a week and a half ago? It was a week from this past Wednesday. And speaking with Nick from their government affairs, and he had been up all night. Now, we're still allowed to mingle at this point. We didn't really know what was going on. And he literally was there. It was 8:30, and he had just gotten off a call, and he had another call come through. They have not been sleeping since this thing hit.
Yeah, like the rest of us. Like the rest, but it's good to see that these folks, you know, you wonder, they're earning their money right now. That's for sure. Folks, stand by. Sonia Riggs, Colorado Restaurant Association. I'm sure there's a lot of great information. Remember, it's a Friday, so the week that we've gone through right now. But this is where the end of the week information. I know day 5 out of how many are going to be coming up. What you can be sure of is that right here at the Modern Eater, as long as we can survive, I mean, trust, we're a small business as well, but if we can survive, we're going to continue to bring you wall-to-wall coverage of coronavirus and the effects that it's happening on Colorado food and beverage. It's an interesting thing, as we see on a daily basis, folks trying to pivot for survival, get creative, what can be done. Some things are just done in vain and they're not working, and
we're reinventing the wheel.
Some of the things that are on this great CRA information that gets sent out that you can go over right now. But again, we just mentioned to you that Governor Polis announced that restaurants may sell alcohol for takeout and curbside, I believe, or curbside.
Because everything's pretty much
I don't
curbside.
see delivery in this.
You know, I may have misspoke there. That's a great question for Sonia. It probably is just curbside. Here it is,
but alcohol approved for takeout,
and delivery. But how do you manage that?
How do you manage it? We'll ask Sonia Riggs when she comes up here. Also, Governor Polis orders expedited turnaround on the processing and approval of unemployment insurance benefits. People are saying, I need cash and I need cash now. And it's not coming from any other source or stream right now. Even if you could have gotten a job the next day, you know how that is. You don't get paid immediately. We're not in just a cash society to get set up on somebody's payroll, learn a new job, a new industry. So a lot of folks flooded the unemployment, which is completely reasonable in a time that where nobody expected this. As Brother Luck said,
it was not our fault.
Yeah, this is nothing that we did to deserve this. So, again, as quickly as possible as some of these.
Let me touch on that real quick, Greg. With unemployment, I do want to share some advice too, because I've had this question come up. What do you need? What do you need from your previous employer? You actually don't need anything other than to fill out the questions that they ask you. You may need to get some prior pay stubs. I think that we're flooded so heavily right now that I don't think they're going to be looking at that. They will contact your prior employer for those details. If you can't find them, if you're used to getting direct deposit, you should be able to contact your former employee. They should be able to throw that up from a4th.com. ADP, Paychex, Paylocity, however, whatever system they're using, you should be able to access your past pay stubs. But really, you don't need any other information than your employment time and the company you worked for. The government does the rest with your employer. So what that means, Greg, is that these employers who are now pushing through and businesses trying to reinvent the wheel.
Oh.
Hey, we'll finish later.
Yeah, we will finish that.
We've got a very important guest on.
Okay, we've been saying she's very busy today. It is a Friday. It's day 5 of Friday, March 20th. As just looking at the new normal and really what anything goes. Yesterday's truth is different than today's truth. Things have come down the pipe. Governor Polis announces restaurants may sell alcohol for takeout. That's off the news, the membership news that we've been encouraging you to take a look at for the Colorado Restaurant Association. But without further ado, she joins us now. Her name is Sonia Riggs, and she's the executive director and CEO of the Colorado Restaurant Association. You have a smile on your face, Sonia. I'm
feeling good.
You came off of a good conference call. Oh, no
Not
audio.
The volume at the.
Oh, the audio.
Man, it can't be us.
I know.
It just can't be.
Sonia, try and log out and log back in, Sonia, because we can't hear you.
I love how I just did that. We can't hear you, even though she can hear us.
Can she hear us?
So I'll finish real quick. Essentially, though, be proactive. I'm filing unemployment.
Sonia, can you hear us? Yeah, you can hear us, but we can't
hear you.
Shoot.
Is your Bluetooth on, Sonia, on that phone?
Your Bluetooth may be stealing your audio, your microphone. I don't know if it is.
I mean, I don't, I don't have I don't know what to do, with that.
No, it's been, I think every time, there's got to be something on her phone that's connected elsewhere because it's.
But I don't know what could steal her microphone.
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Shoot. Well, we can see her, but we can't hear her. I thought we could hear her when she first popped in.
We did.
We did hear her.
We did.
So let's just 1 second, she's saying. Okay, she said she's going to be right back. I do know how to read hands.
Well, I know there's one finger that you're well aware of.
One thing that I can tell you at 4:30 as we wrap up the kind of day's events, and we talked to her yesterday. Her name's Dr. Sara Betz. She is a specialist when dealing with these types of situations as far as trauma and counseling, and Code 4 counseling is who Dr. Sara Betz. We'll catch up with her at 4:30. Still can't hear Sonia.
Nope.
There she is. She's got a headset on too. It looks so official. No, can't hear you. The only thing that I can recommend now, Sonia, if you can hear us, is just to restart your phone completely. Just to turn it off and turn it back on, and hopefully that'll work. We really want to talk to you. Thanks, Sonia. And today, the technical difficulties were minimized.
I think that's great, though, when we're kicking off, because it puts Jay in a better mood when we get started on time.
Now he's in a terrible mood, and I'll even put it on. I'll put myself in a little camera so you can see my hair is terrible.
I think people, they're like, some people like to watch technical issue. Like, how will they survive through this? Watch, we'll pivot. We'll get it done.
Honestly, like when I'm watching some other production, right? And I don't even call myself a producer. You know that. When Greg invited me onto this show 5 years ago, and he says, you want to produce this show that I have an idea for? I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but okay. So, self-deprecating, I don't really see myself as a producer, but I'll tell you this. When I watch other productions and I see something go wrong, no matter what it is, my heart drops. I think you're going to call me and be like, hey, listen, man, I'm watching. Are you watching this because somebody didn't put the camera on the right guy at the right time?
That's not.
No, I mean, well, somewhat, but I'm serious when I see another production, and because I can relate to the pain, but I feel confident with this.
Well, as we're standing by, Jay, do a little housekeeping. What are we trying to do with the stream Monday through Friday? What's going on Saturday?
Jay, you've got a great radio voice. Let's hear it.
Well, what we're trying to do is stream from 2 to 5. Now, I'm saying Monday through Friday, and then we have the Saturday show, which is from 6 to 8 p.m., obviously. Greg's talking about streaming on Sunday also. If he does, I mean,
it'll probably just be me, right?
I mean, well, if it's that, I need one day in my life to.
Keep your fingers crossed. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Yay.
I'm moving around in my house.
Should we ask her to turn her phone sideways? Should we risk it?
Quiet.
There
we
go.
We've got the world.
You see there? Okay, now we're in. But go, Greg. Go.
Okay, here it is. It's Friday. It's day 5. A very interesting week if we followed this. Friday, March 20th. The theme for today is retail versus food service. We've seen retail just get decimated from the ground up as restaurants try and pivot and survive. Interesting week, Sonia. Welcome, Sonia Riggs, CEO and president of the Colorado Restaurant Association. Where do we want to start?
Well, by the obvious update, which I know you've already mentioned this to your listeners, is the order that we're looking at for the governor for allowing alcohol delivery along with takeout and pickup for food. We are waiting to hear from the governor's office. We've been communicating with liquor enforcement today and the governor's office, just waiting on those rules, and folks in Denver as well. But as soon as they come out, we will be sending out a standalone email to restaurants, letting them know here's what the rules are, what the containers look like. We are pushing for something similar to what California is doing, which are not only wine and beer, but are also mixed drinks within some sort of a plastic container that you can show is sealed in some way. So that's what we're hoping for. I also just got word from a friend in the industry who sent me something that the Department of Homeland Security issued today, an alert saying that restaurants are considered essential businesses. So even if the entire country gets shut down, restaurants for to-go and pick up and delivery can remain open.
Yes.
So I mean, it's still shattering a lot of people's businesses, but if this can help in any way, not only help restaurants get through this in some small way, but also I think it's going to be a public service for, I was just at the grocery store this morning and most of the shelves were empty. So people just, I heard from a friend in Washington saying he couldn't get meat at the store, so they ended up ordering in. So restaurants are looking at different ways to cope with this. We're actually continuing to update our website on best practices if you're offering takeout and delivery. And again, like I said, we'll be getting those rules out on alcohol service as soon as we have them, the moment we have them.
Mm-hmm. Because there are a couple of questions that are just swirling around probably in everybody's mind with that. Number one, with alcohol safety. I know that if I was a 17-year-old kid out there with a $20 bill in a basement to be able to roam around in, I'm going to try and get something delivered to me. What are the precautions you figure will take?
Obviously, there's going to be some ID checking that's going to be a part of this. So that'll be covered in the regulations. I suspect probably nobody under the age of 21 will be able to allow to deliver. So we're waiting on those rules as well. But obviously, service to minors is of utmost importance and concern to lawmakers.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like the Instacart rules. They require certain identification, correct, Sonia, where you have to check the ID. You have to, if something's a little off, you have to be 21 to deliver, background checks, that the whole 9 yards. But you're not going to hand a bottle of booze to the kid answering the door.
Exactly.
I do see a lot of honor system stuff going on right now. But what's remarkable, Sonia, is that once there's a little bit of clarity of what can be done, the amount of genius marketing and pivoting that these restaurants are doing right now is fantastic. And I can't wait to see the creativity around these new provisions.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It's nice to see that people are changing their models just to be as resilient as possible. And again, they're trying to not only stay open, but trying to help their employees who are like family members in many cases. So it's nice to see that too. I will, what I tried to say when I first came on a few minutes ago was I just got off an hour-and-a-half conference call where we had labor law attorneys from Fisher and Phillips and our insurance agent from Crest Restaurant Insurance on to talk about, what people need to do to maneuver through the paid sick leave mandates that the federal government is requiring. And as we know, people are very, very concerned about cash flow and support that, what kind of support are restaurants getting through this whole thing. So I want to let folks know that I think we had talked about this yesterday. So step one was just getting the testing kits and everything out that people needed just to keep the country as protected as possible and help manage this from a medical standpoint. Step two was this employee sick leave part, and step three, which we've spoken to several national lawmakers today, that they think that we'll see something by the middle of next week. So by Wednesday, we think of next week, we are looking for some kind of package that will help businesses cope through this. And I'm hoping it's in the form of grants. It may be some sort of a loan that if you follow certain provisions, the full loan is forgiven. But that's what we are looking at for next week.
Wow.
As we talk about relief for these small business people that are saying, please, quickly, and I don't know, the uncertainty is killing me. But as the small business loans become available, that just doesn't seem like a tangible resource for folks, especially in the restaurant business where margins are so thin, to be saddled with more debt moving forward.
Right. And the idea is that they would be forgiven. So that it's really more of a grant type of, so, again, we don't know what this is going to look like. We won't know for a few more days. There's a lot of negotiations happening at the United States level, federal level. But I will tell you, just know both the state restaurant associations and the National Restaurant Association is lobbying every single day on behalf of restaurants. So hopefully we'll have some sort of relief soon. I do want to go back quickly to the takeout and delivery of alcohol, because I want folks to know we will also, as part of that email, be putting together information on where you can get whatever containers they're telling you are allowed. I just talked to one of my partners at Bar Green Ellingson, for example, and he said,
Yep.
We've got them, we're ready. So we're reaching out to other folks too to see who else is going to have those types of things, assuming that they'll follow suit with what other states are doing. I'm really hoping that they will.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so day 5, and it's a Friday. Friday is usually the day of where not too much more new information is available. That Monday is generally where it comes out. What can we expect hitting the ground running on a Monday? What are some of the things that we'll be looking at news-wise?
Well, who knows? We're seeing more and more states decide to put more mandates on who can go out and what kind of businesses are open, right? And what kind of businesses have to shut down. So I think we'll probably see more of that over the weekend. We'll obviously look at what the cases look like, and that's going to have a big impact on what our ability to do anything looks like as far as leaving the house and what kind of services we can access or not access. But I think the biggest thing our folks are waiting on right now and that we're focusing on is this federal relief package that we know restaurants are desperately, desperately waiting for. So we'll just continue to get feedback from lawmakers, I think, as that bill is negotiated, and hopefully I'll have a good update for you.
You're just amazing. I love that we have this so quick. We've had so many questions on all of this stuff throughout the day. I've had it on my personal page. We've had it throughout, our show. And Sonia, just appreciate the real-time information.
Absolutely. Yeah. We will continue to update you as we know more. It's an ongoing, never-ending fight right now. And we're doing whatever we can. Please know that. So again, and I've said this on your show before, I would ask that people go to www.corestaurant.org. We are updating that with business resources, with employee resources, with best practices on what people are doing with their menus and on delivery and pickup. Anything that we can do to help be a resource. What any of these mandates mean. We're updating them with letters that we're sending to the governors and the cities and the and the U.S. government, so they can see what we're asking for. So I really just encourage people to go check that out. And again, if you looked at it yesterday, it's different today, and it'll be different this afternoon because we're consistently updating it.
Yeah, and Sonia Riggs here with us, and just one or two from me anyway, Sonia, and we'll let you get back to your busy day. We have had a very small body of work this last week of what the new normal is.
Right.
and data points that are out there. Are there any data points out there now that we're identifying and seeing within the restaurant industry of what's working and what's not?
I'm not quite sure I understand your question. As far as
curbside, is curbside predominant as far as sales go? Is delivery?
I think we're seeing both. I do want to remind people though, and this is what the insurance agent reminded us, is you've got certain coverages on your policy. If you already do delivery, hopefully you already have the right insurance. If delivery is something new for you, you should really call your insurance broker to make sure that you are covered, because while there may be some basic coverage on there, if you're totally changing your business model and operations, you may very well not be covered. So that would be a big piece of advice I'd give people, is please call your insurance broker. They're working through all this because they know that people have a lot of questions, and we'd hate for you to get caught up in something that you might be even more catastrophic than what we're already going through, just because you didn't.
Oh no.
She's gone.
So my one question for her was going to be,
is she back?
She's back.
Sorry.
There you are. Hi, Sonia. Hi. Go ahead. Continue that thought.
I'm sorry. So I don't know how much of that you heard, but I just want to make sure that they're following up with their insurance broker to make sure they're adequately insured, especially if they're doing delivery.
Because it's very different to use a service versus your own employees out, and different places will not cover that. Our PEO model, for instance, with Fourth under our workers' comp, will not cover their own employees out doing delivery. They have to have another party of insurance cover that.
Yeah.
Sonia, one of the data points that's become clear this week is the dichotomy or the splitting of food service versus retail. Retail is just getting swamped, and food service is trying to figure out footing to survive. A lot of folks that are analyzing the situation here seem to think that the first week was a lot of just fear buying in retail, and those folks had hoarded that food and had their produce at home, but now here it is a week later to where they're faced to that same proposition. Do they want to go out and hit the grocery stores and buy that food, or do they want to now see that the model for restaurants is finding some stability? Some people seem to think this next week is going to be a surge for restaurants and delivery curbside.
I hope so. I mean, it not only is it a great way to get food without having to be around. Again, I was at the grocery store today. There wasn't any food, but there were sure a lot of people. Mm-hmm. When you're getting that curbside pickup or getting delivery, it's a lot fewer people you're having to interact with. So, mm-hmm. I mean, I personally, we got takeout last night. We're going to get it again tonight. It's not only a great way to be able to get some really great food, but it is a great way to help support these local businesses who are constantly doing things to support communities. And at this point, they're just trying to stay alive. So that's my plug there, is consider going out to eat, not, going to pick up your food and bringing it home, or ordering it for delivery, or going through a drive-through, because it's a really great way to help your local businesses. 75% are which small, independently owned and operated businesses.
Have you committed yourself? Terrible question. Okay. I'm committing myself to at least trying to once a day or every other day support a local business. And we talk about gift cards, and I look at that more as a donation. Just think that could possibly be a donation because it's a small business with the uncertainty. But are any other ways that we can help support restaurants right now?
Gift cards are a great point. I would really, at this point, I'd say buy food from local restaurants, and gift cards are another terrific option. Those are the two things that we've really been trying to push.
Thanks for giving us all of these great resources.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, you're amazing. We've got them all printed out.
Good.
And I did explain earlier how much work goes into what you guys do. Not only are you in these conversations, you're coming through, ensuring the data is correct, ensuring that this goes out flawless, and it has to be edited and corrected before it's sent. And we were saying, I think an email the night before last, or maybe last night, was sent at 11:49.
Wow. Because literally, we will start working on these things in the morning, and it may take literally all day to make sure our information's accurate.
Yeah.
Especially since things are changing by the hour. The conference call that I mentioned that I was on earlier, we were talking about labor law issues and insurance issues. That was recorded. We're also doing FAQs based on some questions a lot of questions that we got from the callers that were on. We had about 500 people participate in that, but we are posting that on our website so you can hear the entire hour and a half recording of it. We're working on that right now. And then we're adding an FAQ page based on what people have been asking on that.
Fantastic. Sonia, and thank you for showing again today, and I'm sure we'll talk to you either tomorrow or early next week. Oh, shoot. There we go. I wanted to give you the...
She must be getting a text or a call come in. Yeah, I was going to say, your phone's ringing off the hook, I'm sure.
Call me and let me know. I'm happy to continue talking to you daily.
You're the best. That gives, you have no idea how many people reach out and are so grateful for what you're doing.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you for what you're doing. I appreciate you helping get the word out.
The last thing I wanted to say is if you ever want to utilize the Modern Eater stream to be able to do some of those town halls to where we can just stream it out there to everybody, we'd love to be able to make that available for you.
I will have Sally Ann, my programs person, contact you, Greg.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sonia. Get some rest.
Yep.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. There she is, Sonia Riggs, Colorado Restaurant Association.
Where are you getting coffee or a bagel or a to-go item from this weekend?
What sounds good?
Well, everywhere. That's the challenge, right?
It is a challenge.
Andy's on his way to go to Just Be to pick up our dinner. We'll go to Max's at some point this weekend for the Becky's chicken.
Just Be Kitchen.
Jennifer Peters.
Yeah, Jennifer. I have to get her on the stream. I talked to her, I think, once, and just don't let me forget that.
We'll snag her next week. She's got a busy night tonight. She was supposed to have her watch party because she was on the Food Network with Guy Fieri, and unfortunately that didn't happen. So actually they were like, do you want to donate your tickets to the funds? I said, I want to donate my tickets, but I still want my cozy from you, so I'll donate an extra 20 and then we'll order some dinner from you.
Restaurants may sell alcohol for takeout and curbside. Come on, Jay, if you were 17 and drinking, right, you'd try and get something.
They are. I mean, I thought they were. Would I try to get some? Here's the honest to God's truth. I mean, I didn't start drinking until I, was out of high school, so I was 18, so I was a little bit late, on the curve of that. But of course, I mean, one of my greatest pleasures in life, Greg, is to catch people underage trying to drink, or trying to get a drink for their friend and try to do this. And I'll just say this too, and I know we're going to get to Doctor very shortly. Hey, Doctor.
There's that smile. Let's hear your voice, though.
Hello.
Yes. We're working great.
All right. So anyway, real quick, this is what I always tell people when I can. For some reason, I don't know why, I think Dr. Sara will back me up on this, right? But I always just tell people when I would catch them with a fake ID or using their sister's ID or whatever the games are to try, I say, listen, if you're too stupid to be able to pull this off, then you deserve to get caught. Because here's the thing, I never got caught. Right?
I never. Well,
I mean, I'm just saying, in a certain environment,
the honor system is real right now. No,
it is.
People are behaving themselves. Let's do this. She's here. She's making time for us. It's fantastic.
She's the healthy dose of sunshine today.
I know.
To close out the day.
A baggie of her native soil behind her. This is it. Dr. Sara Betz joins us from Code 4 Counseling. She's our new spirit guide. She didn't even know it, but she's going to guide us through this on the Modern Eater stream. Welcome back, Doctor.
Well, thanks for having me back, guys.
Whew, what a week.
Wow.
And now I'm sitting here thinking about the last time I used a fake ID. So that's
Yeah. When was that? I want to know.
Starting to pop in during all of this, so or it's gonna start aging me quickly. So
well, listen, I'll tell you, mine was year of our Lord 1900 and probably 93. No, I lied. 95, 96.
You know what I am interested in? Not that. Not that. Doctor,
what about levity? What about
just
a moment? Just a moment of somebody may want to know during these trying times, the last year that this doctor used a fake ID. I mean, I'm not saying the whole conversation, Greg, but just a little bit.
It's weird because with the doctor, if we interrupt her, we take her out of her voice. So we're not going to step on you, doctor. Here's where it is. We're all trying to grab a laugh on a Friday. That's a much needed thing through times like this, doctor.
It absolutely is. I think humor is one of those things that, it does. You've got to have a healthy dose of that, even when things are rough. You got to balance it. All the emotions that everyone's experiencing are valid. The fear, the anxiety, the sadness, the anger, all of those need their place and they need to be acknowledged, but we've got to have those moments of laughter too. It really does help kind of lift the spirits and help us from feeling doom and gloom all the time.
Should folks feel guilty for having that feeling of wanting to laugh and wanting to kind of feel light during a time that's so heavy right now?
They should not feel guilty about that at all. It's absolutely something we need. There's a lot of research that shows that humor is something that helps people to balance it. And again, like I said, it's not that you don't give time and space for the other emotions. Those are valid too. But that sense of laughter, it absolutely helps. When I come on this show and everyone's smiling, laughing, that brightens my spirit. And so I think anything anyone can do to just lighten the mood a little bit. If somebody's really struggling, it's okay to sit with them, and you need to sit with them in that. But then helping them to move forward into a happier space is good too.
All right, Dr. Sara Betz, Code 4 Counseling. She's joining us, and hopefully a lot. I don't know what your schedule is, Doctor, but a lot of us are doing these FaceTime types of hangouts right now, and which I think is cool. So I'm just going to unload some stuff that I need help with, and I think other people might identify with that. I'm having a hard time taking in all of this news and information right now. It's very cumbersome. It's taking a toll on my disposition, and frankly, it's very depressing. What do you do with all this information that's coming out at you?
Right. And I think people have a little bit more time than they're used to. So they're scrolling a lot more through social media, so experiencing even more of it. So I think it's helpful to try to add as much structure into your time and into your day that you can. It's okay to update yourself on the news, but you wouldn't be sitting and scrolling through the news all day on any other day. So make sure that you save some time for taking care of your mental health, getting some exercise in, getting outside when the weather is nice, checking in on your friends, checking on how you can give back and help others, instead of just getting lost in the social media storm of news, because that is really depressing if you just sit in that.
Mm-hmm. How do you know when to panic? How do you know when it is serious? Like, this is serious. So we're look at where we are right now, Doctor. Who'd ever thought that we would be living in times that we are right now? I think people are just into shock. But when that shock goes away, and I always say, wherever you go, there you are. And before this, I think a lot of people were, there's mental health issues. There's depression that you're dealing with. Now you throw this on there. But what if it does come to, and again, the what ifs, but what if it does come to the point where there's a lot of sick people around us that we don't know how to process that panic point? I'm just trying to even out emotions here.
Right. I think panic itself has very little value in any circumstance. Full-on panic mode doesn't allow the system to process information. And so we really want people to recognize panicking is not what we're going for. Taking it seriously, understanding what's going on, educating yourself, but recognizing, again, everybody has gone through difficult times before. And my guess is if everybody took a moment to pause and think back to a time in their life where they felt overwhelmed, potentially helpless, really lost, panicking didn't help that. It was simply something they really had to hunker down, get through, reach out to people. So instead of panicking and being afraid of what's to come, really think about a time in your life when you felt some of those similar emotions, and think about what helped you get through that. And just full on panic mode probably isn't what got you through it.
Mm-hmm.
As we near the weekend, we've had, unfortunately, some really crummy weather, which I don't think has helped, as we had a bunch of sunshine in the beginning of this. What's your recommendation for people who are coming off of day 5 and really starting to wake up and come out of that fog, who have a little time? What should they do this weekend?
Yeah, that's a great question. And unfortunately, again, we did have great weather for a few days, and now it's, kind of icky out. But still, it's still fresh air. Still get outside as much as you can. Bundle up, get outside. But also, again, make sure that you're getting exercise, even if you have to stay inside. Listen to music, paint, be creative, get that other side of the brain working. And really just make sure you're doing the same things that make you feel better, whatever that is. And be very mindful about what you're doing with your time. If you're sitting and just kind of dissociating and scrolling through Facebook and staring at the television, or just playing video games, whatever that is, and you're just kind of checked out, really stop and think from time to time, am I recharging myself? Is whatever I'm doing right now recharging me? Is it giving me energy? Or am I just kind of flatlining? If you're flatlining, sometimes we do need to just check out, and that's okay. But you have to really think about, am I decreasing my battery right now, or am I increasing my battery? Same as your phone, you got to plug it in to recharge it. Same thing with yourself. You have to recharge yourself, and your batteries are draining faster right now because of stress. So you've got to make sure that you are close to resources that will help you recharge during all of this too.
I'm good at sleeping.
I am not. So
they don't think about how important sleep is through all of this, and sleep is critically important. 12 hours a day. No, not that much. 7 to 9 would be great. Most people don't get that much sleep, quality sleep, but yeah, sleep's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, and now all of the salons and spas and all those places are closed. So, do a little treatment on yourself. Do a little treatment for your significant other. If, you have a chef who's just been beaten down, who's been there all day, who's trying to make the to-goes. I'm not touching either one of you.
Well, I mean, listen, when somebody says, give a little treatment to your significant other, I'm just thinking, okay, I agree with you 100%.
And you probably recommend that too, don't you, doctor?
I fully agree with that one. Yeah.
On both levels.
Babies, let's just have a whole new generation born out of this. Whatever that is massage and, whatever treatments you can think of at home. Definitely get creative with some of that too.
Yeah.
I was thinking like skin masks and like doing your own nails, things like that. That's okay. I was not going the other way.
Doctor, adulting is hard sometimes, doctor. Adulting is very difficult sometimes. And you're faced with it because people look up to you. I don't have any children, but a lot of people do. Recommendations to folks that actually are in that position to where they are adulting. How do you deal with your children right now?
Yeah, adulting is not fun for adults. And adulting right now is something that we're kind of having to require of kiddos, which is really unfair. This is a tough thing for kids to go through. Really, none of our generations have gone through something like this before. And certainly this is a first really big crisis for kids. So really being mindful of that and making sure that adults understand kids don't have the life skills yet on how to manage this. That doesn't mean we don't have to require them to kind of learn them pretty quick, because we need them to step up and kind of figure out how can they self-soothe, how can they take care of themselves, how can they also take care of others, really teaching that empathy during all of this. But they're going to have moments where they're really stressed out and they lash out because their brains aren't fully developed. They don't know how to handle this. And even as adults, when we feel overwhelmed, we typically lash out. So just being really patient with the kiddos right now, but also being very, very careful to teach them empathy and help them learn to be aware of what's going on outside of just themselves, but recognizing they're afraid and they're probably going to be a little self-centered right now, which is a child mind.
Mm-hmm. I've got a question, if you don't mind, on this topic too. Just as far as, you have kids who are out of school, who are used to playing with their friends, who are in sports, who, but we have also relied so heavily on social media in the household, not social media, more technology, I should say, where, we were talking to Chef Alex the other day about just Alex Laurita and just, the technical piece of it. Do you think this is going to kind of be a game changer in where we've been headed as far as the disconnect? If you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I think kids already, this generation is so used to being tied into technology and social media and all of that. So I think really our goal as adults is to help them learn to use that in a way that helps them practice self-care. They've already done it to connect with their friends and to do homework and things like that. But now they're stuck with, well, I can't go outside. I can't have play dates. I can't do some of the things I did for self-care. So this is a great time to use technology to teach them art. Finding there's all sorts of online programs that can teach them how to do art projects, teach them music, figure out how to help them use it in more creative ways and help them identify strategies on how to take care of themselves and self-soothe a little bit.
I think they need to go back to how I had to have play dates with myself as a kid. I'd throw a tennis ball up against the wall for 13 hours until I heard my mom say, "It's dark, come back home." There's going to be a lot of that right now. But with kids, when I was a kid, doctor, one of the biggest scares was the Cold War, and are we going to get hit with a nuclear bomb? They told us to sit underneath our desks as a drill. Blows my mind. But real question. What do you do when you don't know how to answer your kid? Your kid goes to you, hey, daddy, is coronavirus going to kill us all or kill me? Well, how do you address those types of very pointed, actually good questions that maybe you don't know the answer to, but you want to be able to have that conversation?
Yeah. And frankly, you just aged yourself. So now we all know how old you are.
47.
And again, so with that, it's about helping them put language to what they're asking. Never tell kids don't worry about that. That's the worst advice you can do as an adult who's working with a kiddo, is telling them you don't need to worry about that. Ever in the history of time has that made you stop worrying about something that someone just told you to stop? Of course not. So yeah, it's important to say, I don't know the answer to the question, but it sounds like you are afraid. Labeling emotion that you hear in them can help them start to identify, yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Okay, if you're afraid, what can we do to help you work through that? Do we need to help educate you? Do you have a specific question that you, as adults, can you answer it? Can you get them the information? No, everybody is not going to die of the coronavirus. Might we get sick? Yes, we might get sick. Might someone we know die? Yes, that's a possibility. What does that feel like when I tell you those things? Stop talking, let them kind of process a little bit, start to label emotions. That can be really helpful when kids is have a really honest conversation with them about it.
Mm-hmm. I know my mother right now, mm-hmm. she's held up in her house, which is great. I love it that she has the opportunity to be able to do that. She's got a place. She's kind of self-quarantining. I'm not even allowed to come in, which is great. I talked to her through the front window of the house on the cell phone. You're hearing a lot of those stories. But what do we do with our elderly right now? How can we still maintain attached and be able to take care of them just as well?
I think, again, it's a great question. We've just got to get really creative. Same thing with my mom. She's in the high risk category. So we're doing, grocery shopping for her and taking it by the house, and we're having conversations in the driveway. It's been my entire life. I've never had to go without giving my mom a hug when I see her. And it's tough. It's tough to be engaged with people that we love and not be able to interact with them in the same way. But that's what's really important, is to stay as connected as we can. The phone calls, FaceTime, checking in as much as we can, send them cards, send old school mail, whatever we can do to stay connected, but also really respecting those who are needing to self-quarantine and stay apart, is respecting that. There's a lot of fear in the older population right now. So a lot of them are hunkered down, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. I always say to my team, turmoil stifles creativity. And that's something that I'm seeing a lot right now. And I think people need to focus more than ever right now. How can we kind of put up those blinders to where we're saying, bang, bang, stay out, stay out? What are some of those default points that we can do for ourselves to kind of lessen the turmoil and bring that creativity back up for survival?
Yeah, it's about setting time aside for it. You can sit there and be anxious for, 7 hours a day if you want, but 1 hour a day, even if you can only get yourself to focus for 1 hour a day, really structure time to say, you know what, I will get back to worrying in an hour, but right now I'm going to get a workout in, I'm going to go for a walk, I'm going to listen to music, I'm going to do something to take care of myself. And if I have to get back to worrying after that, I will. But make time for that. Again, it's basically recharging the batteries. Once the battery's dead, you're not good to yourself or anybody else. So setting that time aside is key.
Oh my God, doctor, I love that advice.
That's amazing.
Because I self-taught myself long time. A lot of people get speaking jitters, going public speaking, that type of stuff. I always said to myself, allow yourself this, Greg. Don't worry now, but if you wait until just beforehand to worry if you want to. By the time you get there, you're just fine. So just taking that worrying element out of it.
Yeah, and again, and helping people realize you can still function and be scared. You can still function and have those jitters. And I think sometimes as a culture, we've kind of gotten to this place where we want that emotion to go away. I will do anything to make that emotion go away. I'll drink. I will avoid it, and learning to just say, you can tolerate that. You can tolerate being scared and jittery, I think is actually really valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, here it is. This is where I hate to turn to the dark side, but there is a dark side to a lot of this. Service industry folks especially are vulnerable to just consuming themselves with drugs and alcohol and isolating themselves off with their thoughts and feelings because nobody wants to be judged, right? You just want to try and self-medicate. During this time right now of uncertainty, what do you do with the folks that are really just on that edge to where I don't want to continue on anymore? This is a world I don't want to live in. It's just overwhelming despair. You're on an island,
everything.
and you're suffocating. You see no way out. Where do you go with somebody like that, doctor?
Right. I think when we're talking about feeling helpless and hopeless, those can be incredibly overwhelming feelings. And they tend to drag people into a dark room and make them feel isolated, alone, and ashamed. So it's really important to have really open, honest conversations and allow people to have a dialogue around those experiences and label it and recognize they're not the only ones who feel that way. Suicidal thoughts and suicide in general is a topic that so many people are still afraid to have that conversation. And suicidal thoughts is a symptom. It's a symptom of being overwhelmed. It's a symptom of feeling helpless or hopeless. And if people can learn to put that language to it and say, I'm feeling that, then other people will be able to say, I have felt that too, and I can sit with you through that. There's so much shame that people have felt around the conversation on suicide. And if people felt more able to talk about it openly, I talk a lot when I do trainings for different groups. I've been suicidal in my life, and I'm very comfortable talking about that because I'm not ashamed of it. It simply reflects a time in my life that was really hard. And I'm really glad I'm still here. I have an amazing life. I'm in a very, very different place in my life now, and I'm really happy. But I also am proud of myself for having gotten through that. It's not something I'm ashamed of. And so if people are willing to step up and say, I've been there, I'm not ashamed to say that, and we'll help you get through it, I think that's such an important conversation to have.
Wow. That just right there.
I mean, it is right there.
Doctor, thank you. I think people needed to hear that. I really do. I mean, that is coming from a doctor who deals with this type of stuff, but who has been through it yourself, right? And to be so raw with our audience, thank you, and our industry, just thank you very much.
I think you really have to, doctor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in order for someone to believe in you, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to be vulnerable too.
And you have to normalize it. Again, like you said, I've got all the letters after my name, and I paid a lot of money for that doesn't mean I'm not human. That doesn't mean that I haven't had human experiences. And again, it's really about being proud of who we are and the scars that we have, and being able to just say, I've been through some stuff, and I can help people go through that because I've been there. And honestly, I think more people would raise their hand and say, I've been through it too. And I think that, again, during a time when people are really struggling, it's important to have really open, raw conversations to let people in and to make sure they don't feel isolated.
There's a reason why you're called an expert, because you absolutely are. Dr. Sara Betz, I know during a time like this right now, people really don't want to talk about themselves or services that you offer because it just seems self-serving. But please, doctor, if you wouldn't mind, Code 4 counseling, could you spend a moment talking about that?
Sure. So I've been a public safety psychologist for the past 12 years. So on the day-to-day, most of what I do is taking care of our law enforcement and our fire, dispatch, all of the responders who are still out there through all of this on the day-to-day, taking care of our communities. So a big part of what I do on the day-to-day is take care of responders and their family members. I've owned and operated Code 4 counseling for a little over 2.5 years. My husband is former law enforcement. He just retired in December, and he joins me now. So we get to work together and hang out a lot right now. We like each other, so that works out just fine. And so we do a lot of training and taking care of our responders in the community.
Not that I know, but why does it feel so good to cry sometimes?
Yeah.
Because it's how we're built. Again, I think human beings forget we're animals. We're built a certain way, and we like to control our experiences And that's not really how we're built. We're animals, and we have to just allow our system to function the way it was built. Mm-hmm. And is one of the cleansing things that our system does to clean itself.
Mm-hmm. Before the interview, we started out, wherever you go, there you are, doctor. And I think a lot of times, especially in this time of solitude where you're really sitting with yourself, like, what in the hell is up with my life type of thing? Can this be a learning moment or an opportunity to do some self-reflecting? And if so, where do you begin with that, doctor?
It absolutely is. And I think that that's where I hope people who listen to this really recognize, in this moment, it's really scary and hard. But looking forward, it's kind of exciting to see what sort of resiliency are we all going to find in ourselves and in our communities as we move through this. And so recognizing that resiliency is something that we can look forward to really helps. But as we're self-reflecting, there's a couple of ways that we can do that. And again, this nerd in me, we'll talk about the science here a little bit, in that the brain wants to organize every experience we have. It's just how we're built, that we have to organize things. And the way the brain organizes is to talk about things or to write it down. Those are the two options that our brain recognizes is to help us organize and to process. So whether that's you talk openly with other people, whether that's you are really aware of the self-dialogue that you're having in your own head, or whether you journal, those are the ways that you'll kind of be able to self-reflect and really find that balance of processing what you're going through and also hopefully finding that positive side as well.
I know you're going to join us. I think you are on our live radio show tomorrow on 630 KHOW, Denver's talk station. 6 to 8 p.m. is when we'll be firing it off. I think we're going to get you by phone, which is fantastic. I know this is a huge request, but we need it so bad right now, doctor. Do you think you could end each live show with us just with 5 minutes of I don't know what?
I'd love that.
Make shit up. You got it.
I feel like it makes people feel good, though. We're ending on a great note with somebody who's saying, it's okay. Reach out. I've been there too. I mean, we want to come up. We're having some days where the other day was a great day. I don't even know at this point they're flowing again, but where we just laughed so hard. And today is a bit more serious, and it varies day to day. But to be able to end with a mental health check off,
I think so too.
Is great.
So there's got to be some things that we can, and doctor, you can think of some creative things of just a couple of exercises that we can listen to and follow at the end of the show to kind of just take our day and unwind, and I think it'd be very helpful. So as much as you can, let's just leave it there.
Listen, I'm taking tomorrow and Sunday off, so you get a break too.
I don't
on and sit with you guys, and you just tell me, yes, I'd be happy.
Thank you, doctor.
Wow.
Dr. Sara Metz, Code 4 Counseling. We're going to wrap this one up for the day, doctor. We can't thank you enough for your time and participation.
Well, I enjoy you both, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I will chat with you guys tomorrow.
Hey, Doc, there's 3 of us here.
So sorry, faceless person.
Right. Yeah,
Jay Parker.
not for nothing. I'm just saying.
Oh, and thanks for tweeting this out the other day. That meant a lot.
Absolutely. I'll keep doing that. And hopefully you guys don't mind me doing it because it helps my responders listen in too. So
we love it.
Jay wants to show his face. There he is. Thank you, doctor. Catch up. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. We'll see you then.
Thank you so much, doctor. Have a great night.
Dr. Sara Metz.
Wow.
Hey, you keep needing or do you feel bad about ditching us for the next 2 days?
Because I kind of do.
I know you keep trying to justify to yourself that you
am. It's my
you're going to miss us so bad.
I need to have my mental health checkout. I feel like I'm really dedicated.
This is your mental health checkout.
Well, I feel like I'm really dedicated to what we're doing. And so I'm also having a little bit of FOMO.
You're missing out. That's right. Hey, listen, not everybody can be as tough as me.
I know, Greg.
Hey, here's something that's real to where I can't do any exercises where when I listen to the doctor speak about mental health and some of these things you can do where it's, a timeout. You go for a walk, right? Or you sit down and you meditate.
You're unable to do anything.
I can't do any of that. I can't go for a walk.
Because you don't enjoy it.
To save
what do you
my
enjoy,
life.
Jay?
Well, this is what I'm saying. And so it kind of ties into Sunday a little bit, right? And as I can get on a soapbox and sing my pity party song as my...
You want Sunday to rest
my dead granny. Yes, I do, right? But honestly...
It's remarkable times.
And you know... where I'm coming to where it's like for 5+ years, I've worked 7 days a week, basically 7 days a week for 5 years. So I have like an internal conversation with myself because for whatever reason, I have a lot of stress, right? And I can go in, it's no different stress than anybody else has. We all have stress.
But it's your
right?
stress.
But it's my stress. And so I don't want it to consume me. I want to be able to go, listen. And I think the only thing I can come up with is a day that technically I don't work. Right, even though Sunday, a lot of times I'm starting the podcast from home,
it's
and
Sabbath, man.
Stuff like
rest.
that.
I get it.
But it's just and for me, that's what I think works. Right? I mean, I'm still stressed, so I don't know if the Sunday thing, but I like the idea. If there was going to be somebody that would spend time,
it's going to be remarkable. Aliens right now are probably watching this podcast. So these guys are remarkable because we are seriously documenting a period of time that has never happened before. And for us, it's remarkable for us to be doing this.
So I want to interrupt you both. Carissa Sargent, and forgive me if I pronounced your name incorrectly with Brazin, said thank you. Watched Modern Eater this morning and called our unemployed staff for mental health wellness check-ins. I also told them about Kevin's Tuesday and Thursday family meals. Thank you for doing what you all are doing. So she picked up the phone and called her staff. It's just, thank you, Carissa. The feedback's amazing. Love hearing from you, and just share the wealth of
here's
love.
what we're doing. Monday through Friday from 2 to 5 p.m. We're trying to stream every single day. The best guests, keeping you connected to this community. What you're seeing right now is remarkable, and we want to be that North Star, that beacon of light. We're leaving the light on for you. And we're doing it not only for you, but for us too. We just want to be connected with you. We love everybody so much, and anything that we can do to help. Along those lines, Rebecca Berry, Rebecca.berry@Forth.com. Forth, the company that Rebecca works for, is a great resource. And right now, Rebecca is happy to talk to anybody about any questions that you have as far as HR, payroll, any of those issues, because these are the experts. Leave that to the experts. Just reach out to Rebecca. She's the sweetest gal you'll ever meet.
You're giving me too much credit there, but thank you.
You're a sweetheart. Maybe I haven't seen, listen, it's day 5. Right?
We're only on day 5.
Let's get to know Rebecca day 45. And that's going to go all the way around for all of us. Jay, I already know you, man. You're going to be.
I'll tell you what. It's this would be a good time to not be sober. That's all I'm saying. I see all these people with the face. I know. Well, that's what everybody that's not sober says, right? All of the sober people are miserable. At least I am. But you see all the and here's the thing with alcohol. Is that no matter what's happening, if you're not drinking, you're like, well, man, this would be so much better if I was drinking. But when you're in a pandemic and quarantine and stuff I do think that, that'd be a fun way to, break a kneecap.
So you guys need to watch Love is Blind, because it is the most awful reality show. I don't watch reality TV.
Wait, is it worse than Love After Lockup?
No, but that'll be next on my list.
90 Day Fiance?
I've never watched any of those. I don't watch reality TV.
Oh my God, that's good.
So we decided, though, before we go to bed now, we're going to watch this garbage TV that really. So then I'm annoyed at the annoying girl on TV versus being annoyed at the world.
Annoying people right now. If you are one of these people that just don't believe that, it's very serious right now, and that we need to lessen exposure. Carriers are amongst us. The testing is showing that there's thousands of people that are undiagnosed with coronavirus right now. If you're one of these people that just doesn't believe in it, you're having parties and you're together with 30, 40 people at a time, even more than 10, it's irresponsible, it's disgusting, and it's just something that really should not be tolerated. Take personal responsibility for yourself, because we really need to find the other side of this disgusting outbreak that's happening right now.
Well, and they said it I read an article last night that said, if you think you're getting away with having 30 people at your house, you're dumb. Don't be word for word. I believe I can't quote who said it because it was 11:30 at night, but I read it. Do not be dumb. We know it's happening, but unfortunately now we have to enforce things else, like the grocery stores now. Don't be dumb.
Dr. Sara Metz says she's still listening, Jay. and you're fired, Jay. No drinking. That's it, Jay.
Well, listen, and thank you, doctor, for caring about my well-being, but I'm not going to drink. And might I add, too, and I hope you're watching, because
he does other really bizarre stuff.
I'm pointing at you that my sobriety is not court-ordered, all right? And now I just feel compelled to tell people, because when they look at me, the next thing they do is look down at my ankle to see a monitor, and try to see, like, oh, yeah, you can't drink. Here's the thing, Greg, just to coattail on you on what you said, and then I'll let you close it out. When it comes to if you're out there party and you're not taking it serious. Here's the thing, for somebody like me and you, we've never seen this before. Our government has never closed down the restaurants. You've never been downtown to Denver in the last 43 years, and 47 for you, because when there's nobody on the streets and nothing is happening, right? So it's like, as much as I take comfort in thinking, okay, a lot of it is precautionary actions, right? So that we hopefully, but the fact that we're doing it, that we're actually closing down the city, that says something, and you should pay attention to that.
And if you saw Jay's eye, we do have a camera on you. You're serious.
It's terrifying.
Your eye. That's what a sober man looks like.
Yeah, that's right. You want my phone number?
But through the unemployed thing, honestly, Jay, I did help a few people out today just on questions on, where to go to file or what you need. We're happy to help. It's overwhelming. It's daunting. Employers don't know where to go. You don't need to be a partner of ours. You may never be a partner of ours, but you're industry family, and we're here to help. We've got you covered.
That's fourth.
Yeah.
Right there.
For you.
Rebecca Berry, quite the week. I have to thank you.
Thank you.
You did a great, great job. Just to recap today on day 5, March 20th, before we bring it to an end. Retail versus food service. We're seeing a huge hit in food service and a big surge in retail, and just how we're trying to balance that back out now. Do what you can to support your local restaurant, and now maybe bars with this curbside pickup of booze or delivery. But do what you can. Make a commitment. Make a commitment to us. Make a commitment to yourself. If you're tuned into this stream on the Modern Eater, that means that you appreciate local. That means you appreciate what we do. It means you appreciate our community. Support it. And I know you will continue to support it right now with the new normal and anything goes. Be responsible as well. I'm not trying to preach to anybody right now, but mind your P's and Q's and keep it together. That's why we're bringing you this programming. Again, the headline of today is restaurants may sell alcohol for takeout and or delivery. The provisions are coming down the pipe to, really what does that look like? But where people are just trying to get footing right now and get any kind of revenue stream to take care of what employees are left, that's a big deal. There is a lot of talent out there right now, too, that's unemployed. There are going to be greener pastures. That talent will get absorbed. Start planning for what that future is looking like and get lean and mean. We want to see you survive. Small business relief, what is it? We're hoping to get some more information midweek that Sonia Riggs said from the Colorado Restaurant Association. I say hang in there. I mean it, and it's tough. But nothing's gonna happen in a day or two. So hang in there till next week.
We have
if you
resources.
Possibly can. Remember, brands don't do business with other brands. People do business with people. On the other side of this, it's how we're treating each other. It's the relationships that you had for many, many years. Money makes things weird. It makes things real weird. Mm-hmm. As the Goodfellas would say, F you, pay me. There's no room for that right now. People are going to put you off. People aren't going to take your calls, but I want you to communicate. I want you to take the calls, and I want you to be up front. Small business emergency relief. There's some cool stuff Denver's trying to do. Look on the Denver website for a couple of basically grant things. They've allotted a certain amount of money to small businesses just to apply for everything right now,
and
Rebecca.
Anything. I'm pulling this up right now. Help your local service industry, serviceindustry.tips. It will randomly select a bartender, a server, somebody who has gone into this, and you can have it in any state or any city.
Cool.
It rotates. I paid 2 people I don't even know last night a little bit of money
And they're friends for life.
They're friends for life, and it goes straight to their Venmo. So nobody else is collecting this. There's no tax on it.
We tweeted out to the organizer.
We'd love to have them on.
To have him on, but understand what that's doing. It's just if you had $10 pop up on your Venmo right now, what would that mean to you? That's fantastic that you did that, Rebecca. That is so cool.
It's not a lot, I wish I could give more, but I also need to spread it throughout multiple organizations right now. But I can tell you what, the message I got back, because it's a Venmo message back, said thank you so much.
Absolutely.
That is $10 to put in somebody's gas tank towards their phone bill.
You're going to get some heavy pours in the future. You got good karma building up.
I don't know if I need heavier pours, but I do need some good karma, so I'll take that.
Okay. Just to thank the folks that were on the show today, Andy McArdle, Mountain Man Micro Farms, you just 24 hours, you lost everything, working with 60 different restaurants in the Front Range and just struggling for positioning. If you got any advice or would like to reach out to Andy McArdle to talk to him about Mountain Man Micro Farms, any opportunity that he may have. Zach Johnston, the Spice Guy, thank you. You're a stud, dude. Chris Laurita and Mike Laurita from Italco Food Products. Italco Food Products, if you missed any of this show beforehand, they're doing something very innovative right now when they're strictly food service and just direct to restaurants.
Can I share their website again real quick?
Please.
It is italco.com, and if you go into products, you guys, it's I'm going home. And actually, if we do a joint order, we can get a thing of burrata for Jay.
Let's do a joint order.
Let's totally do it.
A joint order. Get your neighbors and
So
family.
then you hit request quote after you put it in your cart. A sales rep will contact you. They can either deliver it or you pick it up. I think if, it just depends on the market you're in. If you're really far away, if you have the opportunity to come pick it up so those guys aren't spending more money on gas as they're trying to push, please be reasonable.
But for a first time ever, Italco Food Products going straight to consumer.
Ooh, again, amazing stuff.
Chris Franklin from Leevers Locavore, man, you're a great person to talk to. If you want to shop local and they're supporting a lot of local brands, they're fully stocked, locked and loaded. Leevers Locavore, check them out. Again, Sonia Riggs, Colorado Restaurant Association, gal's out there earning her money, working hard. I doubt it's Friday night. She's going to be putting it down anytime soon. Probably get an email from her around 11 o'clock. Yeah. And then Dr. Sara Metz, Code 4 Counseling. Thank you, doctor. You're amazing.
And Jay, thanks. Thanks for the entertainment, the producing.
Thanks, you guys.
Hey, guys, I'm going to stream for 2 more hours. Just sit here and talk.
Good. You go for it. I'm headed out.
Something like that.
I have some Just Be waiting for me at home.
What's that?
The gluten-free. They do vegan options. Just Be Kitchen. We're going to try to get Jennifer Peters on. She has her watch party tonight. She was on the Food Network with Guy Fieri. Unfortunately, none of us can be in her restaurant to enjoy it. So we're going to stream live from home and support her.
Also, if you need it, local Chow, Colorado Culinary and Hospitality.
Yes.
Please, I think for more information, you just go into Facebook and put in Chow, CHOW, Colorado. There's a group there. Service industry, if you need it, man, you need a friend, you need an ear, you need someone to talk to. They're doing a great job. They're going to do a virtual hangout tonight. And that's needed for a lot of people. Until tomorrow, we'll see you tomorrow right back here. Remember, 6 to 8 p.m., but we will be live on 630 KHOW, iHeart radio station, so we'll adjust it up just for tomorrow. I don't know what Sunday is going to look like, but we're going to try and be here for you, too, on Sunday.
Feel free to ping us, though. Ping directly through to Greg at greg@themoderneater.com or Becca.berry@fourth.com via our Facebook's The Modern Eater page. If you have questions, those are things that we can take 24/7 because we can push it back, get some answers. So, or if you just need somebody to throw ping to.
Boom. And
it's been a good week.
We love you.
Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.
See you tomorrow.